Starting lineups are brought to you as always by Chatham Bars Inn, CBI, a member of leading hotels of the world. Elegance right here in Chatham. First, for manager Jeff Trundy's Falmouth Commodores. Leading off, the shortstop.
Another day, another road swing for the Falmouth Commodores, as tonight it's a battle between East and West. The Commodores here for the first time this season to take on, or first time in Chatham to take on the Chatham Anglers, as we welcome you into tonight's broadcast. David Adar here alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for joining us here on this beautiful Tuesday evening from Chatham, Massachusetts. Just about a picture-perfect sky over Veterans Field. The fans slowly gathering into the stands, and we're about 15 minutes away for the second meeting this season between Falmouth and Chatham. The two teams opened this 2021 season against one another 9 days ago, and it was a tie, a 7-7 draw between the two sides. For both teams, it was the first of two ties this season, and Matt, both teams coming into tonight's contest off a tie last night.
Both teams coming off a tie. Both teams coming off a 3-3 tie. Last night, we saw the Commodores' offense go quiet for most of the game, having 21 straight batters retired from the last out of the top of the second to then 2 outs in the 9th inning. All the hitters in that order were retired, and it wasn't until Jace Borfin had his second hit of the night in that 9th inning that broke up that streak. But they attacked early, and they were able to come out with a tie. All 6 runs last night for the Commodores and the Gatemen combined 3-3. All 6 runs were scored in the first 2 innings, 2 apiece in the first, 1 apiece in the second. So I think the last 2 nights what we've seen from this Commodores team is getting out early, and to be on the road, get to hit first, you get to set the tone in the top of the first inning. So if they're able to come out again and just score in the first inning, put pressure on the Anglers tonight, they're going to give themselves a chance to win right away.
This is, like I mentioned, the 3rd straight road game for the Commodores. They played at Hyannis back on Sunday, scored 5 runs in the opening inning en route to an 8-5 victory. Then last night scored 2 runs in the opening inning en route to a 3-3 tie. And here, one final game before returning to the Gov tomorrow evening. So they take on Chatham for the second time this season. Chatham sitting tied for second in the Eastern Division with Brewster. 8 points for each of them. And Chatham last night nearly took down Bourne, as Bourne almost dropped its first game of the season, ended up being that 3-3 tie. But, Matt, going back to last night's game for the Commodores, it wasn't the usual offensive explosion we're used to. 2 runs in the first inning, 1 run in the second, and then, like you mentioned, a stretch of 21 up, 21 down for the Commodores before they got a base runner in the 9th, but couldn't bring that runner home, and in the end, a 3-3 draw. So tonight, back on the road, a place that they've played well this season, and they have to, you'd think, get the bats going again.
Well, look, if you have a situation in a game like that in the middle of the game, pretty much the entire game, from the 2nd to the 9th inning of not having a hitter reach base, you know the story is get out on top early when you're the road team. Score in the first inning, and you give your team a chance to win, and you give your pitchers some luxury and some run support when they go out onto the mound for the first time. We saw Jack Jasiak come onto the mound last night in the bottom of the first with a 2-run lead. He surrendered a 2-run home run and was able to settle in a little bit after that. Then in the second inning with a 1-run lead, it was 3-2. He gave up another run. But since then, after that, both pitching staffs for both sides, the Gatemen and the Commodores last night, were just elite. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything that close to perfect baseball, obviously, at the end of a game, but it was just incredible to watch. Sammy Natera went 4 innings for the Gatemen and had 7 strikeouts. He went perfect in those 4. It was just quiet hitting, but I think the story is if you get out early, you're in a position to win regardless of what happens later on in the game.
The Commodores getting out early the last couple of games. Falmouth coming into tonight's contest tied with Cotuit and Bourne. 47 total runs scored on the season, which is tied for tops in the league. And before tonight's contest, our sideline reporter Joanne Bethea had an opportunity to sit down with Falmouth's hitting coach Brett Becker.
So yesterday when I talked with Coach Landry, he says when he's developing players, he takes more of a backseat approach. Do you think that you have the same style, or are you more vocal?
I would say that it's more of a backseat approach, but I'm always there for them. So if they want advice or if they want to talk, I'm always there for them. That's where I feel like we can make the most impact, because they're not here to make wholesale changes, but a lot of times, the smallest adjustment can make the biggest difference, and that's what I feel is the best approach to how we do it here.
So Jace Borfin is the CCBL player to watch this week, and what they highlighted was his success at the plate. What about this kid makes him so successful?
I think he's just learning how to prepare and learning how to get his body in the right position to allow him to be successful. I mean, we've spent literally every day in the cage other than today, and I think it's just the product of putting in the work and not worrying about the results, and the results are happening for him. It's fun to watch because he's a very talented kid, and I think his best baseball is ahead of him.
Awesome. Lastly, do you think you've been around your players long enough to see the holes in their swings yet?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. For me, it's a lot of just watching the ball flight that they can create. And from there, it's kind of the tell-all for me of how their body works and how their swing works and what they got to do to become more consistent, because that's the name of the game.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was hitting coach Brett Becker sitting down with our sideline reporter Joanne Bethay earlier before tonight's contest. Matt, you heard what he said there. This team, he's starting to figure out when guys have holes in their swing and patching things up. This Falmouth team doesn't go down quietly offensively, but clearly helping these bats be a big reason why Falmouth comes into tonight 3-2-2.
Well, I think the biggest thing he said was when he was talking about Jace Borfin and the way he's been playing all season long. He's in the cage all the time. He's working on his game, and he's not worrying about the results. If you worry about the results in this game, you're just going to be a miserable human, because it's a game of failure. You fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer in the big leagues. So, I mean, when you break it all down, if you're working every single day, and we've seen it, when we're at the field every day, Jace Borfin's in the cage hitting weighted baseballs, hitting lighter baseballs, hitting with a bat that is skinnier than his barrel, and then hitting with a barrel that's completely shaved in half, so you have a flat part of the bat that he's hitting heavier baseballs with to get more power, to get stronger, get behind the baseball. Just so many different drills that Becker has him do. But I think the main part is, as an individual for Borfin, not worrying about the results. He's got to have that rub off on some of his teammates who are maybe struggling a little bit, because, like I said, if you worry about the results in the game of baseball, it's not going to be pretty for you.
Let's flip it around now to Chatham. The Anglers come into tonight's contest 3-3-2 on the season, and this is a Chatham team that has played really well at home so far this season. The Anglers are 3-0 here at Veterans Field, and they are not one of the bigger offensive teams. Their hitting and run scoring, all that, sits about middle of the pack in the Cape Cod League, but it's their pitching staff that has really propelled them to this start on the season, and especially at home. A pitching staff that has struck out 98 total batters, which is best in the league, and allows opponents to only hit 195. So going to be a big challenge here tonight for the Falmouth Bats.
Well, they got to completely erase what happened yesterday. I mean, I can confidently say I've never seen a perfect game that long at any point in a baseball game in my entire life. And to see 21 up, 21 down, it's very rare, and it's impressive for the Gateman pitching staff to do that. But you have to come back the next day. This is why baseball's so good. You erase the last night if it was an off night, and you end up with a tie still. With that lack of offense, you still end up with a tie. That's something to be happy with. You come the next day, completely new day. You woke up, you had whatever you do before the game, and you go into the game with a completely new slate and a completely new mind. So regardless of the way that this Chatham pitching staff has been going, at home this season, I mean, this offense has been explosive wherever it's been. So they just got to get back to the basics and got to forget about what happened yesterday.
Falmouth with 47 total runs scored on the season, which is tied for tops in the league alongside Katuitt and Bourne, and they bring that offense here for the first time at an Eastern field this season. It's the first time that Falmouth will play here at Veterans Field, and this is Chatham, the only team that Falmouth will play a total of 4 times this season. All the other Eastern teams, the Commodores, play 3 times, but the Anglers and the Commodores set to meet here for the second of 4 meetings this season, and the first from Chatham. Fans filling in here around the stands, fans sitting beyond the right field fence along the hill that's out there. Matt, we've talked about at the Gov how the hills along the first and third baselines remind us a bit of the what we see at the Little League World Series out in Williamsport, but here you really get it because it's out in the outfield.
Well, this is exactly what it looks like, and there's a firehouse beyond the right field wall, beyond the hill. I mean, this is summer baseball for you. I wish we were able to bring this on video so that our listeners and our viewers could see it, but we'll try to explain it and paint the picture as best as we can. We're pretty much sitting in the stands right now with some fans literally arm's length apart from us. But this is just an event, and I'm so excited because I've heard so many good things about Veterans Field as one of the nicer fields in the league, Orleans as well with Eldridge Park. But coming out here where we don't get to spend a lot of time on this side of the Cape, it's really nice to see all of these fans and all these smiling families out in the outfield and right in front of us behind home plate.
Falmouth played last night at the westernmost team that we have in the Cape Cod League. That is Wareham. Tonight, the easternmost team in the CCBL here in Chatham. The managers for both teams at home plate and talking things over with the umpires, just getting all the rules cleared up around the field, inching closer and closer to first pitch here from Veterans Field, about 4 or so minutes away between the second meeting of the season between the Commodores and the Anglers, the first meeting of the year. A 3-3 tie between, or excuse me, a 7-7 tie between the two sides. That was played back at Gov Fuller Field on opening night, a game in which the Commodores battled back from behind in that contest, scoring 1 run in each of the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and had the lead going into the 9th before Chatham was able to bring home that game-tying run, and then in the end, a tie between the two sides. So trying to get that win tonight. Chatham not too familiar with ties. Last night, they picked up their second tie of the season, which if you look at their last 5 years combined, they had just 6 ties over those 5 years, but already 2 this season. And Matt, a large portion of that is probably because of the fact that there's not even a 10th inning this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw it yesterday, a record amount of ties in one day in the Cape Cod Baseball League since the point streak era began, which is sort of like the StatCast era for Major League Baseball I joke about. But that was 2012 on. There was 3 ties last night across the league. That's the most ever since 2012 on any night. It's only happened 5 times ever that there's been 2 ties in a night. So when you really get into extra innings, it's a different game of baseball because you're going to empty the tank, regardless of whether you're a pitcher, a fielder, an offensive hitter, whoever you are in a situation in extra innings, you're emptying the tank and playing as hard as you possibly can to get a win, and we don't get to see that in an extra inning this season.
We'll step aside here from Veterans Field for tonight's playing of the National Anthem. We'll be back in just a moment.
Who has sung all over the Cape for more than 10 years. She's happy to be singing for the A's once again with tonight's national anthem, Laura Barabee.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Way to go, Laura Barabee. Thank you, Laura.
Just a couple minutes away between the second meeting of the season between the Commodores and the Anglers. And the Commodores will come to bat first in this ballgame. Cody Colden will lead things off for the Commodores. He, a late addition to the lineup. Initially, Maui Ahuna was in that leadoff spot, but instead Colden gets his second straight start tonight. He plays at short. Michael Curiali bats second. He plays at second. Braden Taylor, the designated hitter, once again tonight. He plays at third. Jake Ducarp is tonight's cleanup hitter. He plays at third. Jace Borfin, the right fielder, bats fifth. Jonathan French doing the catching duties tonight as he returns to the lineup to bat sixth. Brennan Malone bats seventh. He plays at first base. Bryson Ware out in left field. And Anthony Hall will round out this lineup playing in straightaway center. The Anglers taking the field now, wearing their home pinstripe uniforms with Anglers written across the chest in script lettering. The Commodores in their black road tops with gray pants and the maroon socks. Some of the players wearing the stirrups, but Commodores wearing those road unis. Once again, third straight game that the Commodores are on the road. And on the bump here for the Anglers tonight is Sebastian Keene as he gets the home start tonight, Matt.
Sebastian Keene drafted by the Boston Red Sox out of high school, the local team, and then chose to go to Northeastern. So he's a local guy through and through from Massachusetts, drafted by his hometown team in the 11th round of 2019's MLB draft, chose to play for the Huskies, and he's the first player ever in Northeastern history that committed to the Huskies and then after getting drafted stayed with his commitment following the draft. Only player ever to do so. Unbelievable high school talent, but also in college has been spectacular in this past 2021 season. 6-1 record, a 4.09 ERA, and 12 starts or 12 appearances as well. He threw a complete game. He threw a shutout. He struck out 73 hitters in the 70 and a third innings, and I mean the walks just 20 to 73 strikeouts. So really solid on the mound. The right-hander stands at 6'3", 187, a redshirt freshman. He's going to look to really be solid tonight for this Chatham team against Falmouth.
Keene had a no decision in his first start for the Anglers, a 4-2 victory for Chatham over Brewster back on June 23rd. He went 3 innings in that start, allowed just 1 hit and struck out 3 batters. No runners came across in that start, and he makes his second appearance here on the bump at home to face the Falmouth Commodores as the Commodores play here in Veterans Field for the first time this season. They'll come out here once more towards the end of the year on July 26th. That'll be a back-to-back between the Commodores and the Anglers. The Anglers will come to the Gov on July 25th, and then the July 26th will be here at Veterans Field. So we inch closer and closer to first pitch here on a beautiful Tuesday evening from Chatham. The sun slowly setting beyond left field. Sun is in our eyes to an extent. It's been for this entire day, but probably just about half an hour or so away from it dipping behind the trees. Matt, you're holding some paper up trying to block your view from the sun.
Trying to help both of us here. Just create like sort of a, like you could take the overhead of your car, the above your driver's seat in the car and move it to the window. That's exactly what I'm trying to create right now with a piece of paper.
A visor you're trying to create.
Yes.
So Cody Colden comes up now to lead things off here for the Commodores from Veterans Field. Stands at the edge of the box, gives a practice swing. Now he digs in. Sebastian Keene will go to work for the second time this season here for Chatham. First pitch home from the righty, and a slow chopper over to third base. Andrew Benefield fields it, and the throw over to first. So 1 pitch, 1 out. And there's 1 gone here with Michael Curiali coming up.
Benefield was pinching up on the infield grass at third base, expecting a bunt from Colden, and it was a swinging bunt almost, just a little chopper off the bat for Colden, but we've seen these leadoff hitters swing at the first pitch often, and that's in an attempt to get on base early. You see that first pitch fastball, and that's probably the best pitch you'll see all at bat, so they're really going for it and being aggressive.
Another right-hander, Michael Curiali, takes ball 1 inside. Defensively, from left to right in the outfield, Cam Chick, Caden Trenkle, and Jack DeLeo. And then moving from left to right in the infield, Andrew Benefield, Matt Garcia, Seth Stevenson, and Caden Grice. Behind the dish, Kevin Parada doing tonight's catching duties is the second pitch of this at-bat on Curiali. Another ball, and the count now 2-0 here on the UCLA Brewing. Keene working very quickly out there as the pitch home is taken inside. Curiali turns away from the pitch, and count now 3-0 here on the dangerous Michael Curiali. Digs back in, the 3-0 pitch comes home, and it's in at the belt for strike 1 here on the right-handed hitter. In the first meeting this season between the Anglers and the Commodores, Curiali batted in that 9th spot, and he lines this one right to the shortstop, Matt Garcia, who catches it on the line, and there's quickly 2 gone.
Good piece of hitting by Curiali, just right at the shortstop Garcia, and nothing you could do about that if you're Michael. Just hit it too hard and right at one of the fielders. Just next time, a little bit more to the left or right, he would have had a single.
2 gone here for Braden Taylor, who had a strong 2-for-5 outing in the first meeting against the Anglers. Picked up a couple of singles in that tie. First pitch home is taken well outside. Parada reaching out to get that ball. And count 1-0 here on the left-handed Braden Taylor. who's hitting .276 coming into tonight's contest. Designated hitter for the second straight night. He takes ball 2 well upstairs. Now 2-0 here on him. Taylor last night went 0 for 4 in the tie to the Gatemen. A 3-3 draw that the Commodores had up at Spillane Field. 2-0 pitch now from Keene is popped high into the air over on the left side at the edge of the outfield. Going back is the shortstop, Matt Garcia. He lost it as it went up and couldn't come down with the ball. He gave a diving effort at it, but ended up not coming down with it. So Braden Taylor reaches. Not sure how he lost that, as the sky is perfectly clear and the sun is directly behind him. But nonetheless, Braden Taylor reaches on, yet to see the scorer's decision, but likely an error.
Taylor just continues to put the ball in play and find a way on base. And just such a, I mean, Cam Chake was sprinting in from left and Garcia was going out. They're going to give him an E6 and just, I mean, the sky's as blue as it can get. I don't really know how he lost track of that.
So strike 1 taken by Jake Ducart, tonight's cleanup hitter for the Commodores. Sits behind 0-1 in the count here. That error for Chatham, just their 8th of the season. They sit in the lower half of the CCBL in terms of errors combined this season. And Sebastian Keene now steps off the mound. Count 0-1 here on Jake Ducart with Braden Taylor leading off of first here in the top of the first from Veterans Field. And the second pitch of that at-bat, a breaking ball taken upstairs for ball 1. Ducart yesterday went 0 for 3 with a walk in the tie to the Gatemen, hitting .389 on the season, which is 4th in the Cape Cod League. Another left-handed hitter here, and the 1-1 pitch home is down and inside for ball 2. Taylor, who leads off of first, 1 stolen base this season for the TCU Horned Frog. Ducart takes a look at his bat, and he looks on to the pitcher, Sebastian Keene, who's set on the mound. 2-1 pitch here with 2 outs in the inning. Is hit hard to first base on a line. Caden Grice can't make the grab, and it rolls into right field. Stopping at second, Braden Taylor. Jake Ducart in safely for what will likely be Falmouth's first hit of the ball game.
Ducart just continues to hit the ball so hard, and he's taken a lot of things the other way. So far this year, he's had big hits towards the left field side. This time rips it down the right field line, and Caden Grice, 6'5", the first baseman is, just could not get enough leather. It's so hard to say that a 6'5" first baseman couldn't get enough leather on it, but just off the end of his glove and hit too hard for him to handle.
That ball was ripped at him, and they are going to give Falmouth a base hit there. So Jake Ducart with the first base hit of the ball game. And here comes Jace Borfin here with 2 runners on here in the top of the first. Takes the first pitch well inside. He jumped out of the way, and given his reaction, he did get hit by the pitch down in the leg area. So he'll take the trot down to first, and after that E6 that was committed by Matt Garcia, Commodores now with the bases loaded here with 2 outs in the inning.
That's the 4th time this season, which is by far the most, that Jace Borfin has been hit by a pitch. That one caught the inside part of his foot that you'd kick a soccer ball with, so just so hollow on the spikes, and it catches him right there. Luckily, a breaking ball, so, I mean, it could have been a lot worse if that's a fastball off the bone of your foot. Borfin's able to run down to first.
First pitch home to Jonathan French right over the heart of the plate for strike 1. French, one of the hotter hitters in this Commodores lineup, comes in hitting .364 on the season, and all 4 of his base hits have come in his last 2 games that he's played, both of those games at Hyannis. 0-1 pitch here from Keene upstairs at the chin, and that's ball 1 on Jonathan French. Commodores here with bases loaded in the top of the first. Braden Taylor reached on an E6. Jake Ducart with a single that got away from the glove of the first baseman, Caden Grice, and then Jace Borfin just hit by a pitch moments ago. 1-1 pitch now from Keene is inside on Jonathan French, and the count now 2-1 in favor of the Clemson catcher.
Look for Jonathan French to stay hot. Has really gotten that bat going in his last 2 starts on Friday and Sunday.
Keene set on the mound, looks towards home, and the pitch, big swing and a miss taken by Jonathan French. Count now 2-2 here on him. French in his last game at Hyannis back on Sunday went 2 for 5 with a couple of ribbies, brought home his 2nd home run of the season, and And both of those home runs coming at McKean Park, just west of here in Hyannis. 2-2 pitch now is hit on a line into right field. That's going to drop in front of the right fielder, Jake DeLeo, for a base hit. One runner scores, and Braden Taylor coming home to score as well. Jake Ducart. The throw was cut off by Caden Grice, and a nice 2-out RBI single there for Jonathan French, who brings home Falmouth's first couple of runs of the ball game, and this inning just continues.
Jonathan French continuing that hot bat. We see him all of batting practice, hit all over the field. And when you can hit to all fields as a catcher, I mean, you're just in such a much better spot to continue rising your stock as a prospect. And Jonathan French, again, taking an outside fastball the other way into right field. And he didn't even extend all the way on the follow-through. Just kind of placed it perfectly on a defensive swing into right field and drives in 2 runs with 2 outs. It seems like every time he's up with 2 outs, something good happens. Both of his home runs have come with 2 outs at Hyannis this past weekend, and he does it again here in the first inning. And the Commodores, for the 3rd straight game, have put up runs, multiple runs that is, in the first inning. Getting out early is so huge for the rest of setting the tone the rest of the way.
Jonathan French now with 5 RBIs over his last 3 starts. As digging in now, Brennan Malone still with 2 outs here in the inning. Falmouth now leading 2-0. Lines this one into right field. Going over to his left to get it is Jake DeLeo, and he makes the grab to end the inning. Not before Falmouth capitalizes on an E6 from Matt Garcia, able to bring home a couple of runs with a good 2-out rally. And we go to the bottom of the first with Falmouth leading 2-0 here from Veterans Field.
We ask your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark. We ask parents to keep their children off the roofs of the dugouts away from the batting cages and out of the bullpen area. Please throw rubbish into the barrels and recycle the aluminum cans in special barrels located around the park. Cameras and video cameras are permitted inside Veterans Field for personal photos, but cannot be used to reproduce the game, players, or on-field events without the express written permission of Chatham Anglers Baseball. Use of camera or video equipment must not interfere with other fans' enjoyment of the game. Due to the required COVID-19 protocols, the Cape Cod Baseball League and local Cape Cod health departments remind you that all unvaccinated persons should wear masks and socially distance wherever necessary. Wash your hands often with soap and water. If you are sick, please stay at home. We appreciate your cooperation and welcome back to Cape Cod Baseball. The Snack Shack is open. I see Grace, the grill master, there, cooking up hamburgers for you. Hot dogs, popcorn. Caroline's there, working hard. So go over and check them out. They've got ice-cold, refreshing Coca-Cola products. They've got ice cream from the local scoop. Check them out behind the visitors' dugout.
We go to the bottom of the first here from Chatham, where Falmouth with an early 2-0 lead here over the Anglers, and Chatham come to bat for the first time this evening. Caden Trenkel will lead things off. He plays out in center field. Jake DeLeo bats second. Caden Grice, the 3-hitter in tonight's lineup. Kevin Parada, the cleanup hitter. David Mendham bats 5th. Andrew Benefield behind him at 6th. Cam Chick from Nebraska, the 7-hitter. Matt Garcia, tonight's 8-hitter. Seth Stevenson rounds out the lineup in that number 9 spot. And Trey McLaughlin officially making his first start of the season. He got the start a week ago against Wareham in a game that ended up getting canceled due to rain. So officially here now, first time on the bump this season for the Commodores.
Well, don't jinx it yet, but, I mean, there's no clouds, so I think we can say it's going to be an official game at some point tonight. McLaughlin, though, did start on that Tuesday night game, and as a starting pitcher, that's just so it's so mental when things like that happen. I know a lot of the major league pitchers are very vocal about that when the umpires don't make the call to call a game, so they make their entire warm-up routine. They start the game, and then it ends in 3 innings. You just throw your entire routine off, but he comes in at a Fairfield and just 5 appearances there this past season, 2-0 record, and the runs were a little bit common when he gives them up, almost a 5 earned run average for the Stags this past season, but looking to really lower that here this summer.
First batter here, Caden Trenkel, left-handed hitter, takes ball 1 high and upstairs for ball 1. McLaughlin, phenomenal K to walk ratio this past season at Fairfield, 32 strikeouts to just 4 walks in his 5 appearances for them. Second pitch of this at bat, hit slowly over to first. Brennan Malone will field it and take it to the bag by himself. And so a quick first out there for the Commodores.
Well, that first base position has been a question mark defensively so far this season for Falmouth. Brandon Malone's played there. Bryson Ware's played there. He's in left field tonight. And Taylor Smith has played there as well. But it's last night the 2 errors were from Smith and Ware, both at first base. Tonight, the first opportunity finds that position, of course, and Malone able to get the routine one for a putout.
Jake DeLeo out of Georgia Tech takes ball 1 just low. Tonight's officiating crew, Joe Caraco behind home plate, Brandon Johnson at first base, and on the other side of the diamond at third, Doug Isham, is playing at third. Second pitch of this at bat just outside for ball 2 here on Jake DeLeo. DeLeo hitting .259 on the season with the Anglers, has 5 RBIs to his name, and he lines this one into left center field. Charging to his right is Hall, and he dives and makes the catch. A spectacular second out by Anthony Hall out in center field. And 2 gone quickly here for Trey McLaughlin.
Unbelievable grab for Hall out in center. And we saw Boyers do it a couple of games ago out in Wareham in center. It's been Anthony Hall, though, out there manning the 8 spot on this field for so many games now in a row. And Anthony Hall just flashing that leather, going a long way to his right in the left center gap, rather, and really just extended fully to make that catch.
Left-handed hitter Caden Grice takes ball 1 on the outside edge of the plate. Now the second pitch of this at bat, hit again over to Malone at first. A phenomenal backhanded stop, a throw over to first where McLaughlin's covering, and a quick 1-2-3 inning there for Trey McLaughlin, who gets through the first inning pretty impressively in his first start of the season for the Commodores. Still 2-0 Falmouth here from Veterans Field. We go to the top of the second with the Commodores leading.
At 6 o'clock, we'll have guests and then a flyover, Coast Guard flyover with Coast Guard, police, and firefighters on the field. It's Anglers Salute to first responders. That Saturday, July 24th, come salute our first responders before the Chatham board game. Now's a good time to check out the merchandise tables located at the lower level of the press box, located on the third base side, the green building here behind home plate. There you'll get all of your Chatham Anglers gear. Hats, shirts, sweatshirts. We've got your size, we've got your color. You name it, we've got it. Hats, shirts, kids, youth, child. We've got everything that you need for your Chatham Anglers gear. That's the merch tables located on the lower level of the press box on the third base side of home plate. Redshirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red shirt every Friday. The special weekly celebration of Redshirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HB Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and
Falmouth leading Chatham 2-0 here as we go to the top of the second from Veterans Field, the second meeting of the season between the Anglers and the Commodores. And in that first inning, Falmouth able to bring 2 runs across, which is a rarity against this Chatham pitching staff at home. In the 3 games coming into tonight, the Anglers had only allowed 5 total runs at home, and Falmouth already bringing 2 across there in that opening inning, Matt. The bats just staying hot here for the Commodores.
And the importance of following it up with a 0 is crucial. You win every inning, but most importantly, you got to win the first inning. If you win the first inning, you set the tone for the rest of the game, and that's what they did, coming out with 2 diving stops in one in the outfield by Hall, one in the infield by Malone to start off the bottom half of the first.
Bryson Ware leads off the inning. He lines it into center field, and it's going to drop down. Bryson Ware has his first base hit as a Commodore. No doubt the best feeling out there for him. He was 0 for 14 coming into that at-bat. He hit it softly into straightaway center, and it fell just a couple steps in front of Caden Trenkle, and a leadoff man aboard here for Falmouth.
Well, once you get the first one, they come very quickly, and they'll pile up for Bryson, where he just needed mentally to get that first one to fall. He finally does, and now it'll be much better situation for him at the plate.
Anthony Hall drills the first pitch to the second baseman, Seth Stevenson. He tags Ware, and then the throw over to first is in time. And correction, they're actually going to say that the tag was never applied. So Bryson Ware safe at second. Out at first is Anthony Hall.
Cody Colden.
So still one man on here with Bryson Ware now standing on second here for the Commodores.
Both hitters, though, in the 8 spot and the 9 spot, swinging at the first pitch. And again, that first pitch is likely the best you'll see if it's right down the middle or fastball on the plate. Got to go attack it.
Back to the top of the lineup now for Cody Colden, who grounded out in his first at-bat to the third baseman, Andrew Benefield. And he shows bunt on the first pitch, but it rolls foul very quickly. So the count now 0-1 here on Colden. Bryson Ware leads off of second after picking up his first base hit of the season with Falmouth. The only other guy who sees playing time who has yet to pick up a base hit is Taylor Smith. But definitely a huge sigh of relief for Bryson Ware as Colden swings through strike 2 and now quickly behind in the count 0-2. Sun starting to fall behind a cloud beyond left field. My shade's coming off. A lot of fans taking theirs off as well, with that sun finally dipping behind some cloud cover here at Veterans Field. Keene set out on the bump, a look back towards second, and now the 0-2 delivery fanned on by Cody Colden. And that's the second out of the inning as Sebastian Keene picks up his first strikeout.
That's a huge out because with a runner on second, you don't allow Colden to put the ball in play and have the runner advance. Now he stays at second, so a hit to the outfield for Kiriali would score the runner Bryson Ware on second with 2 outs here.
Michael Kiriali digs in, 2 outs in the inning. Keene set on the bump, looks back towards second, and brings the pitch home as it's fouled into the backstop for strike 1. Kiriali lined out to the shortstop, Matt Garcia, back in the first. He was 0 for 3 yesterday and hit by a pitch in the tie to the Gateman. He's gone a little quiet at the plate now, just 1 for his last 10. And Keene, after looking back towards second, is going to step off with his back foot. And so we'll do it all again. Still 0-1 here on the right-handed hitter, Michael Kiriali. Keene set, now looks back towards second, comes home with the 0-1 down in the dirt as Kevin Parada had to shift over to his right to block that ball. Count falls to 1-1 here on Kiriali.
Parada was so noticeably defensively sound on opening night at Gov Fuller Field against the Commodores, and tonight a huge block there to keep Bryson Ware at second.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs in the inning. Keene with the pitch home and hit hard down the line on the left side of play, but foul as it rolls around by the Anglers' dugout. So count now falls to 1-2 here on the right-handed hitter, Michael Kiriali. Commodores leading 2-0 here from Veterans Field in the top of the second. And the pitch home from Keene just outside. Michael Kiriali thought about swinging at it. He tracked the ball in, started to bend his knees, but ends up laying off the pitch. And the count runs to 2-2 here on him. Quickly steps out, now back in the box, holding the bat back. Keene taking a while to looking for the sign from his catcher, Parada. Comes set, a quick look towards second, and now the delivery home. Big swing and a miss by Michael Kiriali for the 3rd out of the inning. Sebastian Keene ends it with back-to-back Ks. Commodores go scoreless for the first time in an inning tonight, and we'll move to the bottom of the second. Still 2-0 Commodores here from Veterans Field.
Fans, our 50-50 raffle will be held tonight. Tickets are on sale now. Visit the 50-50 table next to the press box or buy them from our Chatham Athletic Association volunteers and angler players as they pass through the stands. Tickets are $1 each, 3 for $2, 10 for $5, 25 for $10, 60 for $20, and 150 big tickets for just $40. Tonight's prize packs. One is a $20 gift card from Chatham Fish and Chips and 50 baseball cards. Another is a gift card from the Red Nun and the Highline Canal Cruise for 2. Another is a gift certificate from Chatham Candy Manor and a t-shirt from Chatham Ivy. Another is 1 large pizza from Sweet Tomatoes and a t-shirt from Covey's. Another is a gift card from the Chatham Squire and a Highline Harbor Cruise for 2. And of course, half the money. Remember, remember, you have to be in it to win it. Remember, all the money that you give on our half helps cover Chatham Anglers' expenses. Thanks for your support.
Bottom of the second, and 4, 5, and 6 will come up for the Anglers as they come to bat for the second time this evening. Trey McLaughlin had a perfect 1-2-3 inning back in the first. Got a couple of ground outs and a line out in the inning in his first official start of the season. And he comes back out here for the second inning. Anglers looking for that first base hit, trailing 2-0 here to Falmouth.
McLaughlin with a really quick inning, under 10 pitches in that first inning. That's how you set the tone. And you come back, now you got to face the middle part of the order, 4, 5, and 6, 2 up. But if you keep that same sort of pace on the mound of in between pitches, you're going to get into a rhythm at some point.
Kevin Parada leads off the inning here for Chatham, and he takes ball one as it bounces in front of home plate, coming into the catcher, Jonathan French. Parada, another Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket in tonight's starting lineup, one of two guys out of Georgia Tech. And he takes strike one to even up the count at 1-1. Hitting .292 with the Anglers coming into tonight's contest. McLaughlin looks into French for the sign. Now has it as he works home from the windup, and big swing and a miss from Parada makes the count now 1-2 in the pitcher's favor. Parada started in 51 games this past season with the Yellow Jackets, where he led the team, hitting .318. Grounds this one on the left side foul, where it's stopped by the third base coach for the Anglers. Count still 1-2 here on Parada.
And that was just his 10th pitch of the evening. So if you can, as I said, limit the damage quickly, that's how you get a good start.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and the second ball comes in from McLaughlin, and another bouncer in front of home plate. That one coming in at 82 miles an hour out of the arm of the Fairfield pitcher. Stands looking straight away at home and then turns as he comes home with the delivery. A 2-2 pitch that's in for strike 3. Kevin Parada goes down looking. That's the first K of the night for Trey McLaughlin, and there's one out here in the bottom of the second.
Beautiful pitch on the outside corner. That breaking ball just masterfully placed. And it loops in right on that corner, paints the black, and a picture-perfect strike 3 breaking ball there for McLaughlin.
Here's David Mendham, who was just activated today for this ball game. So this is first at-bat of the season for the Anglers out of South Carolina, where he just finished up his junior year. Steps in, a left-handed hitter, and he takes strike 1 at the knees. This past season, Mendham hitting .243 with the Gamecocks. Had 28 total RBIs on the season and 52 starts. Behind in the count here, 0-1, and the second pitch of this at-bat, a breaking ball on the outside edge of the plate. Count evens up at 1-1. Mendham, tonight's designated hitter, as the 1-1 pitch home is hit on the ground over towards second, fielded by Curiali, who had a range over to his left, and the throw in time for out number 2 in this inning. And so quickly, 2 up, 2 down, as McLaughlin still to allow a base runner.
So far this season, we've seen Michael Curiali all over the field. We've seen him at second, shortstop, left field, center field, really everywhere. But as far as the infield goes, he's looked so much more comfortable at second base as opposed to shortstop. And I think that his glove is solid, but the arm has been so much more accurate from second base.
2 gone here for Andrew Benefield, who lines the first pitch into left field. And that's a fair ball as it lands on the left field line. He rounds first and hustles into second, where he's in standing up. And that's the first base hit of the ball game, the first base runner as well for the Anglers. And it comes here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second.
Once again, that first pitch is the one that Benefield went after. So we've seen a lot of hitters tonight swinging first pitch, and he just rips it perfectly down the left field line, tailing toward that line. It bounced in foul, went into foul territory, and a long way for Bryson Ware to run. But he got it in pretty quickly, almost a close play at second on the throw.
Benefield, that his second hit of the season. He leads off of second with Cam Chick, tonight's 7-hitter, digging in here for Chatham. McLaughlin works from the stretch for the first time tonight, and the pitch home to Cam Chick is able to catch the outside corner of the plate for strike 1 here on the Nebraska Cornhusker. Chick hitting 158 coming into tonight's contest. Plays out in left field for the Anglers this evening. One of those hits a home run on the year. The other two just singles. McLaughlin set, belt high. Couple looks towards second. Now the delivery home. Another pitch right on the outside corner of the plate. Count falls to 0-2 here on Cam Chick. Chick was named to the second team All Big Ten back in 2019. This past season hit .260 with the Huskers. Nebraska, one of 3 teams in the Big Ten to make the NCAA tournament. Third pitch of this at-bat is fanned on, and Cam Chick with a hard hustle down to third as it got away from French. Very speedy runner, but French able to make the throw in time down to Brennan Malone. And that's the final out of the inning. Trey McLaughlin ends it with a couple of Ks in the inning to set down the Anglers. And we go to the top of the third. Still 2-0 Falmouth here from Veterans Field.
A big happy 7th birthday to Anthony Moulton. Happy birthday, Anthony, who recently hit a home run over the fence. Enjoy your birthday. Chatham Anglers will be hosting a fireworks spectacular show here at Veterans Field on Thursday, July 1st. The evening begins at 6 p.m. with entertainers making balloon animals and doing children's face painting. Then at 8 o'clock, Dan Clark, the singing trooper, will take the field to perform a medley of patriotic songs leading up to a sensational fireworks show that begins around 9. We'd like to thank Chatham Bars Inn, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, the Chatham Clothing Bar, Chatham Cookware, Chatham Candy Manor, the Chatham Chamber of Commerce, and of course the Chatham Anglers for sponsoring this event. Come down early, grab dinner at our snack shack, buy some Anglers gear, and participate in our 50-50 prior to the event. It's guaranteed to be great fun.
We go to the top of the third here from Veterans Field with Falmouth leading 2-0 over the Chatham Anglers and the team's second meeting out of 4 on the season. David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for spending some of your Tuesday evening with us as the Commodores close out this 3-game road swing here this evening before returning to the Gov tomorrow night to take on Hyannis. Braden Taylor leads off the inning here for Falmouth. And he takes strike 1 on the inside corner of the plate. 3, 4, and 5 come up here for Falmouth here in the third. Sebastian Keene out for his third inning of work. He went 3 innings in his first start of the season. He's allowed 3 base hits so far in tonight's contest. Taylor reached on an error back in the first and the second pitch of this at-bat. He lines through the hole on the right side of the infield for his first base hit of the evening and the 4th for the Commodores. And so Braden Taylor reaches on a leadoff single.
Last night was the first time all season Braden Taylor didn't reach base. He's been on twice tonight, and now a single, and just continues to hit the ball in that 3 spot. He's looked like one of the most promising young stars on this Commodores team all year.
So Taylor will lead off of first with Jake Ducart, tonight's cleanup hitter, digging in here for Falmouth. Ducart picked up the first base hit of the ball game back in the first. Left-handed hitter with a big swing and a miss on strike 1 from Sebastian Keene. Ducart comes into tonight's contest hitting .389, which is 4th in the Cape Cod League. Keene set and comes home. Hit high into the air into left center field. Ranging to his left, the left fielder Cam Chick, and he gets under it for out number 1. Taylor stays at first, and that'll bring up Jace Borfin.
Number 16, Jace Borfin.
Ducart continues to have the right approach, going the other way, and that time just a bit under it, but as a left-handed hitter, to not be a pull hitter is going to get him somewhere because we see so many left-handed pull hitters up at the next level. To be different than that would be huge, and Ducart continues to hit the ball to the left side.
Borfin takes ball 1 low. Borfin was hit by a pitch in the shin leg area back in the first, on the first pitch that came home to him. Yesterday was he picked up 2 of the 3 base hits that the Commodores had in that tie to the Gateman. And one of those base hits came in the top of the 9th as the 1-0 pitch is fouled out of play down the left side to even up the count at 1-1. Borfin was the man responsible for breaking up the back-end perfect game is what I'm calling it. We saw 21 up, 21 down before Borfin came to the plate in the top of the 9th. Nearly, if he had gone out, it would have been 22 up, 22 down for the Commodores at the tail end of that ball game. Ball 2 is taken inside, and then a quick throw from Kevin Parada down to first. Braden Taylor back in with a head first slide. And the count now 2-1 here on Borfin.
Parada with a really, really hard throw to first. A good arm from the Georgia Tech catcher.
Borfin steps out now back in to the left-hander's batter box. Keen set, a head nod towards first, and the delivery home outside. Count now 3-1 here on Jace Borfin. One gone here in the top of the third. Falmouth leading 2-0 over the Chatham Anglers. Keen set, and the delivery home from the right-hander. High and away, ball 4. And Borfin will reach base for the second time this ball game as he trots down via a 5-pitch walk.
Here's Jonathan French, who's the difference tonight. The 2-run single in the first inning with 2 outs. Just continues to look to stay hot. Has had 2 hits in each of the last 2 starts on Friday and Sunday. 2 home runs in that span, 1 in each game. And tonight already with a hit. So that's 5 in his last 3 starts.
French digs in here with the Commodores leading 2-0 here in the top of the third. Braden Taylor leads off of second. Jace Borfin leads off of first. And Keen turns back towards second as he starts his motion. No throw. Taylor back in standing up. The second baseman, Seth Stevenson, standing about 10, 15 feet away from the bag. Now starts to come into cover. It retreats. And Keen with the delivery home. French pops it high over to the right side of play, tailing foul. Question is whether or not it'll reach the stands, and it does so as it lands in a tree beyond one of the light posts along the right side of play. Count 0-1 here on the Clemson catcher.
Grice, Stevenson at second, and DeLeo in right all went after that. And that's good to see if you're the coaching staff for the Anglers. 3 fielders going after a foul ball. Good communication to not run right through the fence and tell each other it's probably out of play.
Count 0-1 here on Jonathan French as Keen comes set on the bump. A look back towards second. Now the delivery home. Big swing and a miss from French. And the count now 0-2 here on the Clemson catcher. French back in the first with a 2 RBI single into right field. Now with 5 RBIs on the season, all of those picked up in his last 3 starts. Keen set, a big deep breath from the right-handed pitcher, and now the delivery home, a breaking ball that falls away from French, and the count now 1-2. Commodores with those 2 runs in the first, bringing home runs in the first inning in all 3 of their road games here on this 3-game swing on the road. 1-2 delivery, fouled into the backstop, and the count remains 1-2 here on French. So after Falmouth hadn't scored in the first inning all season long, they've done so Sunday, Monday, and here again tonight to do it in 3 straight games. We heard from the Commodores hitting coach Brett Becker in the pregame, and he talked about some of the adjustments that these batters have made. Highlighted Jace Borfin, who's had such a good bat for the Commodores in the starting lineup. Keen steps off the mound and comes back on now, asking for signs again from his catcher, Parada. The 1-2 delivery from the pitcher is hit hard into straightaway center. Tracking back is Caden Trenkle at the edge of the warning track. He leaps and he makes the catch at the edge of the fence. Tagging from second and going to third, Braden Taylor. Jace Borfin will stay at first. And Jonathan French, who hit that ball to the deepest part of this ballpark, it's 385 to straightaway center, just got under it. And there's 2 gone here in the top of the third.
French was inches away from that being a 3-run shot. Would have had all 5 runs batted in the game, but still, with 2 strikes, hit the ball that far and allow your runner Taylor on second to tag up to third. A productive out, like I keep talking about all season. French with a really good at-bat, getting deep into a count, and then really flying it out far enough for his runner to tag up.
Runners on the corners now for Falmouth. Brendan Malone takes ball 1 low and away. Borfin leads off of first, Taylor at third. After Taylor moved on what we have dubbed Matt's productive outs, this new stat that we're not keeping track of, but we're recommending people do. Sebastian Keane set, nods his head over towards first, never looks at third, and comes home with the delivery low and away. Count improves to 2-0 here on Brennan Malone. Malone making his first start in a few games. He last started in the Commodores' last home game back on June 26th against Harwich. Returns to the starting lineup tonight and has a 2-0 count and a big swing and a miss from the South Carolina Gamecock. Makes the count 2-1. Malone lined out to right back in the first for the third out of that inning. Now 2 for 17 on the season is the right-handed hitter. Keane set, the 2-1 delivery as Borfin running on the pitch. It slides into second. He's safe, and scoring from third is Braden Taylor. Make it 3-0 Falmouth as Borfin safe at second. Taylor moves on the throw, and it's 3-0 Commodores here in the top of the third.
Well, Parada really has an arm behind the dish, so with 2 outs and runners at the corners, the play is to throw to second base to try and get Borfin out. He's got a couple of stolen bags this year. Too quick on the bases, and that throw on target just not even half a second late. It was so close.
2-2 delivery here to Brennan Malone is down in the dirt for ball 3 on the South Carolina Gamecocks. So the Commodores now with a 3-0 lead here over the Anglers from Veterans Field. Falmouth had a couple of leads against Chatham in the first meeting of the season, but none this large as Malone takes ball 4 inside. He has to move his chest out of the way from that ball, and he trots down to first. And so now the Commodores with runners on first and second here with 2 outs. All 3 of Falmouth's runs tonight have come with 2 outs. The Commodores doing a good job of running on the base paths and just putting good at-bats together with 2 outs here this evening. So Bryson Ware digs in now after coming in off of his first base hit of the season for Falmouth. Takes strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate. Ware singled to straightaway center back in the second. He led off the inning. Behind here, 0-1 in the top of the third. Falmouth leading 3-0. Pitch home from Keane, a broken bat as it slowly rolled over the shortstop, Matt Garcia. And they're actually going to say it was a foul ball. And now some confusion as to whether or not it was foul or not. The Anglers are starting to trot off the field. Ware never ran down to first, and now all 3 umpires are going to come together to talk about this one. The Anglers running off the field. Ware is standing about halfway between home plate and the dugout, just looking at the umpires. Both base runners still on here for Falmouth. Borfin stands at third. At second is Brendan Malone. The umpires again meeting in front of the mound to talk over whether or not this was a foul ball from Bryson Ware. And they're going to say he is out as Matt Garcia made the throw over to first. So that ball must have just been centimeters in play. But regardless, it's an out. It ends the inning. But Falmouth brings home another run in the third. It's 3-0 Commodores as we go to the bottom half of the inning.
Happy 20th birthday to center fielder Caden Trinkle. Happy birthday, Caden. We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams, our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we're able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the Falmouth Commodores, the Chatham Anglers, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we'd like to announce and thank our 2021 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Badger Sport, 47 brand, Cape Cod 5-cent Savings, Milton Cat, Mosquito Mary's, Fairway Financial, Ocean Spray, Seaside Le Mans, and Rogers Gray. I'll be back with you next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors. Cape Cod Baseball League would like to welcome our new sponsor, Mosquito Mary's, a locally owned, family-operated business that provides all-natural mosquito and tick control. Call 866-ASK-MARY or go to mosquitomarys.com.
3-0 Falmouth here from Veterans Field as we move to the bottom of the third. Anglers with 8, 9, and 1 coming up here in the bottom half of the inning. And Caden Trenkle due up here for Chatham. Trey McLaughlin still on the bump for Falmouth as he works into his third inning of the night. And Matt Garcia, the left-handed hitter out of Chipola College, digs in, and he takes strike one over the heart of the plate. McLaughlin has only allowed one base runner so far tonight. That was a double to left field from the bat of Andrew Benefield back in the second. Count now 1-1 here on Matt Garcia. And McLaughlin comes home with the 1-1 pitch. Hit on a couple of hops over to Malone at first, able to field it easily. A high throw to McLaughlin, but he's able to make the grab up high, come down, collect his feet, and tag the base just before Matt Garcia got there. And so there's one gone.
It just seems like every play that there's a ground ball to first base, there's something that makes it interesting. But Malone's throw is just enough, high enough for pitcher McLaughlin to handle it and step on the bag at the same time.
One gone here for Seth Stevenson, the 9-hitter in tonight's lineup. And he takes strike one over the heart of the plate. Matt, this is our third ballpark we've been to this season, and I think easily this one is going down as my favorite thus far, away from the Gov, of course, as ball one is taken down low from Stevenson.
This one easily, with just the way the fans are situated and everything beyond the outfield of the firehouse and the fans sitting up on the hill, just so great.
1-1 pitch is hit up the middle. Curiali ranges over to his right. The throw, not in time to first. A slow chopper up the middle of the infield. Curiali able to get to the ball just in time, but the throw is late to Stevenson, who picks up the second base hit of the night for the Anglers.
Well, Stevenson ran a 60-yard dash in 6.19 seconds. So running 90 feet, I said this last time, not too big of a deal for Stevenson, and he gets down 90 feet to a ground ball to second base, beats it out. Just incredible speed from the 9-hitter.
Back to the top of the lineup here for Caden Trenkle, who takes another first pitch strike over the heart of the plate. Stevenson, who stands on first, has one stolen base this season for the Anglers. Trenkle, the hitter, is 0 for 1 on the night after grounding out to Malone back in the first. And the pitch home, a check swing from Trenkle, but the home plate umpire, Joe Caraco, going to say he went around, and the count now 0-2. Going back to this ballpark, easily the most crowded the most fans that we've seen at any away game thus far this season, but fans with lawn chairs set up all over the field beyond the right field and center field gates, as McLaughlin with a high throw over to first.
Brennan Malone with a little deke move there. That throw, he jumped up, caught it, but then pretended it went past him, started to run away from first a little bit to try and get Stevenson to hop off the bag, but it didn't work.
Stevenson back to leading off of first, and the pitch home is lined into left field, but barely having to move is where he maybe takes one step to his right, and that's about it to camp under it for out number 2.
Batting for Chatham, the right fielder from Georgia Tech, number 2, Jake DeLeo.
So 2 gone now for Jake DeLeo. Another one of these guys looking for that first base hit of the night. DeLeo lined out to center back in the first. Comes in hitting .259 in tonight's contest, and a quick throw over from McLaughlin to first as a head-first slide from Seth Stevenson keeps him at the base. DeLeo with 5 RBIs on the season. His only extra base hit, a double. And McLaughlin from the stretch comes home with the pitch. And it's outside for ball 1. Lights on here at Veterans Field as the sun is not a factor anymore. It's dipped behind some clouds and behind some trees beyond the left field area. And the 1-0 pitch is fouled back and out of play into the parking lot here behind Veterans Field. Count now 1-1.
This is also one of the few fields in the league that isn't a high school field, and it's the actual Cape Cod Baseball League's team's field. So this is where the Chatham Anglers play, nobody else, and that's part of the reason why the atmosphere is the way it is.
Throw back towards first. Stevenson back in safely with another head-first slide. This is the first ballpark we've been to that has a warning track. It may be the only one, I'm not sure, but it's the first one we've seen with a warning track. It's the deepest fence lines that we've seen among the few fields we've been to thus far. 1-1 delivery is in for strike two. Running on that pitch is Stevenson, and a feet-first slide into second. He beats the throw from Jonathan French. So there's his second stolen base of the season, and now a runner in scoring position for the Anglers.
That speed is just so lethal. He can run anywhere. French still with a good arm and good time from when he caught it to getting rid of it to throwing it down to second. And an average runner would be thrown out on an accurate throw there.
Count sits at 1-2 here on Jake DeLeo. And the delivery from McLaughlin is fouled over to the left side. Count remains 1-2 as it goes into the Anglers' dugout. First trip east this season for Falmouth, to the Eastern Division, I should say. Have gone east from Falmouth, but as far as Hyannis. And McLaughlin looks in for the sign, now going to step off the rubber and reset. Falmouth last night playing at the westernmost team in Wareham, and tonight the easternmost team in Chatham. Commodores leading 3-0 here in the bottom half of the third, and the pitch home, and they're going to say that DeLeo swung at it. It got away from French, but no harm done as the throw from the Clemson catcher is in time down to first, and that ends the inning. So through 3 innings, just 2 base runners for the Anglers. Both have been stranded, and we move to the top of the fourth. Falmouth with a 3-0 advantage here from Veterans Field. Matt takes over on play-by-play when we come back from Chatham.
Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, Access Baths, Quest Diagnostics, Cape Space, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for more than 50 years of support. There's no line at the Snack Shack. Now's the time to go over and get a perfectly grilled hamburger or cheeseburger from Grace, the intern extraordinaire, who tonight is the Grill Master, Grace. All right, they've got all kinds of ballpark favorites there. You name it, they have it. Refreshing Coca-Cola products, ice cream, you name it, they have it. Baseball fans, the Chatham Anglers and the nonprofit Chatham Athletic Association, thank you for coming out to tonight's game. Your financial support is the main reason we can bring you these games in the Cape League, the best summer league in the country. As Anglers, players, and supporters and interns pass through the crowd, please be as generous as you can. Remember, there's no admission. Again, the Anglers thank you for your support. Alex McFarland now pitching for Chatham, number 18 out of the University of Miami. The center fielder, number 35, Anthony.
To the top of the fourth here at Veterans Field, Matt Levine with David Hadar from Chatham, and the Commodores with a 3-0 lead as we head into the fourth. New pitcher on the mound is Alex McFarland for the Anglers, and he'll face 9-1-2 here in the inning. Anthony Hall will lead things off. And Anthony Hall grounded out to second base his first time up. The second appearance of the season for McFarland. Went 3 innings, no hits, no runs in his first outing. And the first pitch, Hall sees, he skies to the left field side, but foul and out of play. And McFarland ahead 0-1. Pitched against Brewster on June 23rd and picked up the win there. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Hall. Popped up and skied high, almost to the height of the light and out of play on the left side. And now it's 0-2. 3 strikeouts in those 3 innings he had against the Whitecaps. And the Miami Hurricane on the mound is a right-hander. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Hall. Misses off the outside corner with a fastball at 95 miles an hour. And it's 1-2.
And Keene tonight roughed up in the start. He had a better start in his first outing against Brewster. Commodores did a good job of attacking him early in this ballgame, getting ahead early. And if this score stands, Keene would be the one credited with the loss.
1-2 comes outside to make it 2-2. And now in the windup, here's the 2-2 pitch. Hit high in the air into left center field. Trinkle goes back, and now right in front of the warning track in the left center field gap. He makes the catch for the first out. And yet again, Anthony Hall taking one the other way, hitting it hard almost to the wall once again.
Yeah, Hall does such a good job of putting balls in play and just trying to make fielders have to make the actual play. He does that there by skying it into center field. Trinkle having to come over and make the grab. But Hall, such a dangerous bat in that 9 spot. And now the lineup card flips back to the top.
First pitch to Colden, up and in. Gets him off the batter's box. Now it's 1-0. 94 up and in at the shoulder. Able to just shimmy his way out of the way. Andrew Benefield at third base plays even with the bag. And the 1-0. On the outside corner, a fastball is a called strike. And it's 1-1. McFarland just wrapped up his freshman year at the University of Miami. Drafted in the 25th round of the 2019 draft by the Cardinals. 1-1 to Colden, missed inside to make it 2-1. Originally from St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Staying down south to play for the Hurricanes. 2-1 pitch from McFarland. Grounded to the left side, fielded by Benefield on the run. On the pitcher's mound, he makes the throw in time. I don't think I've ever seen a third baseman run on top of the hill to make a throw to first, but it worked for Benefield, and now there's 2 down.
Yeah, that was interesting. He fielded the ball. He kind of clutched a couple times in his glove before finally coming out to throw it. I actually thought Colden, because it took so long for Benefield to release that ball, I actually thought Colden may have a chance at beating out the throw, but Benefield gets all the way to the mound and makes the throw there for the second out.
So here's Curiali with 2 outs. First pitch, grounds it to the third baseman, and up and over his glove as it goes into left field. Benefield couldn't make the play. Curiali's going to try to stretch it for 2. The throw comes in from left field, and it beats him. Cam Chick with an absolute dot to second base, and Garcia slapped the tag on him. And Curiali is out, trying to stretch that error or maybe a single. We'll see how they give it to him into a double or at least 2 bases, but that ends the inning. And yet again, Commodores go scoreless. That's now the second time tonight. They still hold a 3-0 lead, and we head into the bottom of the 4th. We'll get you the official score on that play when we come back, as Trey McLaughlin heads back to the mound with a 3-0 lead.
Chatham Anglers would like to thank Franklin Sports for its sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League again this year. Franklin is again the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's designer to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. Cape Cod, the major leagues. Only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves. Whether it's life insurance to safeguard your loved ones, an umbrella policy to protect your team driver, or making sure your home is covered from storm damage, Rogers Gray is there to guide you. Insurance is more than just a box to check. Trust Rogers Gray, a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Chatham Anglers and the Chatham Athletic Association would like to welcome right fielder number 2 Jake DeLeo's parents are here visiting from Fairfield, Connecticut. Tammy and Stephen DeLeo, welcome. Thanks for coming. The first baseman from Clemson.
Back here for the bottom of the 4th, the official ruling, Curiali is going to be given a single on the last play and then thrown out on a 9-4 putout, trying to advance it into a double. That hustle double did not work, and Here in the bottom of the fourth with a 3-0 lead, McLaughlin heads back to the mound to face 3-4-5. Caden Grice steps in. The first pitch of the inning. This is outside to Grice, the left-handed hitter, on an off-speed pitch to make it 1-0. Grice, the 6'6", 240-pound first baseman out of Clemson University. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball called, strike at the belt. Now it's 1-1. McLaughlin really locked in so far, just 2 hits given up. 1-1 pitch. Big swing from Grice, and he chops it foul over to the dugout on the first base side for the Commodores. Now he's behind 1-2. Grounded out to first base his first time up. That's when Brennan Malone made a nice diving stop and then tossed it to McLaughlin covering the bag. And in the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Skied foul on the left side. On a fastball down the middle. That could have been a lot more dangerous for McLaughlin, but just fisting it fouled was Caden Grice. I don't think he expected the fastball there. Still behind 1-2, though. Here's the pitch again. Fouled right in and out of the glove of Jonathan French, and he smacks his leg in some frustration as he couldn't squeeze it for strike 3. So Caden Grice stays alive once more. Caden Grice out of Clemson and the catcher French out of Clemson. So 2 Tiger teammates right around the plate right now. 1-2. Breaking ball off, fouled off of Jonathan French again, and Caden Grice gotten the better of him twice now, fouling 2 straight off of him behind the dish.
They're rivals on the field this summer, but I bet when they get back to school in the fall, French may have some bruises from Grice's bat.
1-2 again. Called strike 3 up at the letters with a changeup from McLaughlin. And Caden Grice goes down looking. He has some words for his teammate Jonathan French. He's looking back at him a couple times. Maybe French said something to him, fouled the ball twice off me, but the Commodores get the better of Grice this time and makes it 1 down here in the fourth.
And that's such a big out for Trey McLaughlin. Grice, such a powerful hitter out there, can do so much damage, and he's retired him on back-to-back occasions this evening.
4 strikeouts now for McLaughlin through 3 1/3. 3-0 Commodores here as Kevin Parada steps in. First pitch, rips it down the left field line, hooking foul, and it lands just a couple feet foul of the left field line. Would have been extra bases, but on a couple hops goes foul and into the bullpen for the Anglers down the left field line. So it's a long strike to make it 0-1. Parada struck out looking his first time up to lead off the second inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. On the outside corner, just missing with a slower fastball. It's 1-1. Infield and outfield at normal depth. And the 1-1 is skied into straightaway center field. Hall moves back, now moves in 3 steps to make the catch. And now 2 down.
Routine play there for Anthony Hall. Like you said, take a couple steps back. That's always what you want to be your first move as an outfielder. Take that step back, and then it's way easier to come in than retreat back. And so takes that step back and then sees that it's coming in. So a light trot in from the center fielder, and there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the fourth.
Here's David Mendham, the DH out of South Carolina, grounded out to Curiali at second his first time up. 4 straight retired for McLaughlin. And with 2 outs here in the top, or the bottom of the fourth rather, first pitch to Mendham is outside and low. And ahead in the count, Mendham is 1-0. 4 strikeouts on the evening for McLaughlin, just in his first official start of the season, looks locked in. Just 2 base runners allowed on 2 hits so far tonight. 1-0 pitch. Just chopped foul on the right side into the brick backstop. And right in front of the Commodores dugout, it stops rolling on the grass. Now it's 1-1. Field dimensions are kind of interesting here, to say the least, at Veterans Park. Left field is 340, left center is 357. Straightaway center is 385. And just like left center, right center is 357. But the right field porch just 314 feet away, much like Yankee Stadium. That short porch in right, so good for the left-handed hitters. 1-1, this time hit out to left field. Going back is Ware, and that ball bounces fair, a 1 hop into the left field bullpen for the Anglers. It goes 1 hop on the line. You saw that chalk dusting up, and it just goes straight into the left field bullpen for the Anglers down that third base line. So it'll be a ground rule double, the official ruling for David Mendham, and a 2-out base runner for the Anglers, their third hit of the night and their third base runner of the night.
That's now the second ball tonight that's been put on the line, and a very, very close play as to whether or not fair or foul. But like you mentioned, Matt, the chalk up there dusting up, and that kind of gave the evidence that it was fair, and then it rolled out of play. So another 2-out hit for the Anglers. That's the second time tonight they've picked up a double with 2 outs.
Here's Andrew Benefield with a runner on second and 2 down. Swing and a miss at the first pitch changeup, and it's 0-1.
We've seen McLaughlin be so locked in early in these innings, and not that giving up, a base hit here or there means you're not, but in the early parts of the innings, he's just been so dominant, and then it's been late where the Anglers are finding those base hits, and that's part of the reason McLaughlin has had so much success getting early outs.
0-1 pitch. High fastball misses up at the eyes for a ball. It's 1-1. Every hit tonight, all three of them have come with either 1 or 2 outs in the inning, so the first batter has been retired in all 4 innings of offense so far for the Anglers. Doug Isham, though, the third base umpire, was directly on the third base line when he was able to read whether that last double by Mendham was fair or foul. 1-1 breaking ball missed outside to make it 2-1. So just a really solid angle for him to see. Straight down the line, if it's fair or foul, it lands right on the line and just bounces into the bullpen to be a ground rule double. Count 2-1, 3-0 lead for Falmouth here in the bottom of the 4th. Runner in scoring position on second base. 2-1 pitch. Another elevated fastball misses upstairs to make it 3-1. The first time really tonight that McLaughlin's been behind well in a count.
It is, and we've seen him jump ahead early in so many at-bats here tonight, getting that first pitch strike, but this at-bat falling behind a little to Benefield, in danger of surrendering a second base runner in an inning for the first time tonight.
Benefield out of Dallas Baptist, transferred from Louisville after 2 seasons there. 3-1, swing and a miss. Really good location on an off-speed pitch from McLaughlin. That was low in the zone after it fell off the shelf, crossing the plate to make it 3-2. Dallas Baptist had a solid season, winning the Fort Worth Regional that TCU hosted. A couple of TCU guys on the Commodores roster, and then losing to Virginia in the Super Regional. 3-2, and it missed low. Good block by French, but it's ball 4 to Benefield. And now runners on first and second. The first walk of the night for Trey McLaughlin. That brings up Cam Chick with 2 down and 2 runners on.
Yeah, McLaughlin there just getting behind too early in the at-bat and just couldn't battle back. He was able to get it from 3-1 to 3-2, but then gave a ball that was away from the plate. Benefield saw it coming. He read it well out of the arm of McLaughlin, and so now 2 guys on for the first time tonight for Chatham.
Cam Chick steps in, struck out his first time up. First pitch from McLaughlin, a high fastball misses upstairs to the 5'10" Chick. And it's 1-0. And now French is going to go out and talk to his pitcher.
Some movement starting out in the Falmouth bullpen. It's tough to see from our angle whether or not guys are warming up. I don't think anyone is, but it's just some movement starting to brew out there.
A lot of black jerseys down that right field line. In such a weird spot.
They're right amongst the fans out there.
Very, very strange. That's probably the only downside of this entire ballpark, but nonetheless, a 3-0 lead for Falmouth and a 1-0 count with 2 runners on first and second with 2 down here in the 4th. 1-0 pitch from McLaughlin. On one hop, hit to the second baseman Curiali, and the loopy throw gets the speedy Chick in time to retire the side. A 4-3 putout, or 4-3 ground out rather, gets McLaughlin through the inning despite 2 base runners coming, and now 4 base runners stranded tonight. All 4 that have reached base have been stranded for the Anglers. We head to the 5th inning, and the score still remains 3-0 Commodores.
This is my friend, Rachel Tanis, another parent volunteer. Tonight we're here to do the Book Drive raffle. Thank you, Anglers, for welcoming us. The Monomoy Family Resource Center, which is located in the Harwich Elementary School, started this community project back in the spring. People who purchased and donated a book at Where the Sidewalk Ends bookstore and the Yellow Umbrella book received a raffle ticket. The community project was a huge success. In total, over 600 new children's books were donated at the bookstore. These books will be distributed
To the 5th inning we go. 3-0 lead for the Commodores. And Braden Taylor and 3-4-5 to 4-5 and 6 to follow, but 3-4-5 due up. And the first pitch from McFarland fouled off behind home plate. Almost off the press box directly behind us to make it 0-1 to Braden Taylor. Taylor, the 3-hitter in the order in every game so far this season, has scored 2 runs tonight and reached on a single and an error. 0-1 pitch off the outside corner misses for McFarland. It's now 1-1. This is, David, the hardest throwing pitcher we've seen consistently on the mound, at least consistently throwing hard on the mound against the Commodores this season. 1-1 fastball at 94 miles an hour misses outside. Now it's 2-1 to Taylor.
Yeah, that pitch 94, but we've seen him hit as high as 95 tonight for the Anglers. A really, really good arm out there, and a guy that Falmouth hasn't seen pitch this hard yet this season.
2-1, another 94-mile-an-hour fastball missed outside. It's 3-1 to Braden Taylor. This is when he can do some damage if he gets a pitch to hit. The Big 12 freshman of the year at TCU, and the 3-1. Got a pitch to hit, but fouled it off behind home plate into the netting. And now it's a full count at 3-2. Taylor has reached base in all but one game. That was last night. Seemed like no Commodores reached base yesterday. 3-2 pitch to Taylor. And he missed up and outside at 94 again. And Taylor's aboard with a leadoff walk here in the top of the 5th.
We haven't seen too many free passes tonight from the Anglers. The Commodores have really had to earn the at-bats that they've had in reaching base in this ball game. Falmouth with 5 hits thus far. That's just the 3rd walk of the evening issued by a Gateman pitcher, the first out of the arm of Alex McFarland.
So McFarland out of the stretch for the first time. Allowed 1 hit so far to Kiriali, but he was thrown out at second trying to stretch it into a double. Pickoff attempt over on first base, but Taylor's back in standing up. Jake Ducart, the hitter now, 1 for 2 tonight. A single and a run scored in the first. Came home around to score with Taylor on that 2-run single from Jonathan French. Set at the belt, pickoff attempt again, and this time Taylor dives back in at first, but beats the throw by a lot. 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors for the Commodores. No runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Anglers through 4 innings so far, 4+ innings here in the top of the 5th. First pitch to Ducart, fastball high and away. And the count 1-0 to the Oregon State Beaver. Ducart finished his sophomore season of eligibility this past year, but his 3rd year overall. And now pitching coach Dennis Cook is going to come out onto the mound to talk to McFarland. And Parada is going to join him, the catcher. Just a meeting between the 3 of them.
Yeah, well, so far this inning, after McFarland set down the Commodores in order back in the 4th, he's thrown the first 5 pitches to Taylor. 4 of them were balls, and then the first pitch here to Jake Ducart, a ball as well. So giving him a little bit of a break out there, just talk with him, talk things over, try and settle him down out there because he's thrown 5 balls to just 1 strike here in the inning and try and get him to that dominant self that he was back in the 4th.
3-0 lead for Falmouth, 1-0 the count. Taylor on first, Ducart the hitter. McFarland deals to 1-0. Missed outside again with a fastball, and now it's 2-0. Throw from Parada almost got away from McFarland, but he's able to get it.
That pitch home from from McFarland on the outside edge of the plate, close to being a strike. It was a little outside, but sometimes if you get one close, even see that strike called by the home plate umpire, mentally that can do so much.
2-0, Ducart swings, flies it to left field, ranging over his chick towards the line. He makes the running grab, moving towards his right a long way, and Taylor retreats all the way back from second to first base. And just a long fly out and 1 down and a long way to run for Cam Chick, the Nebraska Cornhusker.
Yeah, Chick, we've already highlighted a couple times in this ballgame how speedy he is out there. He was reminding me a little of a road runner out there. His feet were just moving so fast out in left field, able to track down that ball on the fly, but a very, very speedy runner.
That brings up Jace Borfin, a hit by pitch and a walk tonight. He's reached base both times. And the first pitch, a called strike at the letters. It's 0-1. McFarland, the Miami Hurricane, stands at 6'4", 212 pounds. Borfin, the league's player to watch this week, is the hitter, the freshman out of Oklahoma. 0-1, popped up foul to the left side and out of play behind home plate. And now the count 0-2. McFarland working out of the stretch with a runner on first. Borfin, the hitter, the left-handed hitter, has been so red hot this season so far. Long set on the mound, and the pitch to Borfin, grounded through the left side and under Benefield's legs as it went through his glove. And everybody's safe as Taylor moves up to second base with one down, and another error for this Anglers team on the night.
Yeah, this Chatham team with just 7 errors coming into tonight's ball game, and already 2 tonight for the home side. Not a common, mistake by this team. The third baseman, Benefield, looking like Bill Buckner there, just on the other side of the infield. Went literally right through his legs, exactly how it happened to Bill Buckner. And now 2 runners on here for the Commodores.
You might have a tough crowd if any of our local listeners are listening to mention that name. But for me, that's a great name to mention as a Mets fan. Runners on first and second with 1 out. And French grounds the first pitch back up to the pitcher, McFarland. His throw to third is in time. And now the relay back over to first from Benefield gets away from the glove of Grice. Going from second to third is Borfin. He's going to be stopped there by Brett Becker, the third base coach. And Jonathan French is safe at first. So there'll be runners at the corners and just a fielder's choice on what might be another error. It's an error by Grice this time. An E3 on Caden Grice. That's his 3rd error on the year. And now 3 tonight. 2 in the inning. And a really hard throw from Benefield after the fielder's choice. A 1-5 fielder's choice. The throw across the diamond just too much to handle for Caden Grice.
And that's a tough break for Chatham. That's exactly how Falmouth was able to score some of those early runs in the first inning, was taking advantage of the E6 from Matt Garcia. And then there, back-to-back errors allows Commodores to get runners on the corners.
First pitch to Brennan Malone, fouled off to the right side and out of play. So runners at the corners with French on first, Borfin at third. Winning 3-0 are the Commodores here in the top of the 5th. 2 outs and the count 0-1 to Brendan Malone. Middle infield pinches up the middle just a bit with a runner on first. McFarland set at the belt, out of the stretch. 0-1 pitch. Catches the outside corner with a fastball at 93, and now it's 0-2. And that fastball he's been using so much just looks too dominant with that sometimes when he's ahead in the counts. Able to blow it right by. McFarland set at the belt once more. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Waved at, and a called strike 3 on the outside corner with that breaking ball. And mixing in, going from 93, 94 miles an hour to dropping it down to 82 on the outside corner is nasty. And McFarland's able to get out of it unscathed despite 3 base runners reaching in the inning. Commodores strand 2, and we head to the bottom of the 5th. Still, Commodores leading 3-0 over Chatham.
Table. Fans, after each home game, the Chatham Anglers are treated to food and drinks. Tonight's post-game meal was donated by Diane Donahue, a longtime Chatham host mom, former post-game meal coordinator, and fan of the Boys of Summer. And she's done it in the memory of Paul Gallup, all that he did for the Cape Cod Baseball League and especially the Chatham Anglers. Thank you to Diane for your donation tonight. Let's hear it for Diane Donahue. We're still looking for more supporters to donate post-game meals. If you're interested, please stop by the press box. Thank you. Now's a good time to check out the merch tables located on the lower level of the press box. There you'll get all of your Chatham Anglers gear. Bring home a memory of the summer and help the Chatham Anglers while you're at it. And wear that t-shirt or sweatshirt all season long. And think about your wonderful time here at Veterans Field and at a Cape League game.
To the bottom of the 5th here at Veterans Field, Matt Levine with David Hadar. And David, this is turning into a really solid pitching performance for Trey McLaughlin. He's gone 4 innings so far. He's back out on the mound, and the longest start of the year by a Commodores pitcher was 4 innings yesterday by Jack Jasiak. So Trey McLaughlin is going to go to the mound to try and beat that tonight. First pitch of the inning to Matt Garcia is fouled off of Jonathan French again, off the mask. And now it's 0-1. And tonight, David, they've really held them scoreless and matching their season high of innings, the most innings they've held a team scoreless to start the game of 4. 0-1. Breaking ball missed inside, and now it's 1-1.
Yeah, coming into tonight's contest, the longest a team had gone scoreless against the Commodores was 4 innings, and so just 1 out here will top that. Here in the bottom half of the 5th is the count now 1-2 on a foul ball from Garcia. But Trey McLaughlin tonight giving the Commodores easily one of their best outings of the season by any pitcher, but especially a starter, because not only has he gone looking to try and go 5 full innings, but has also given up no runs.
1-2, skied to the left field side. And ranging over to his left is Bryson Ware. He makes the catch in the left center field gap, a couple feet in front of that warning track. And now that's the longest start of the season by a Commodores pitcher. 4 1/3 so far of scoreless baseball for Trey McLaughlin. There's 1 down here in the 5th, and now it's the longest streak of innings in a row to start a game that the Commodores have held a team scoreless.
So a couple of big things happening on that out there.
Just 3 hits so far and 4 base runners tonight for Chatham. First pitch to Stevenson, called strike on the outside corner, 86 miles an hour. The difference between McFarland on the mound, throwing about 94, 95 consistently, and McLaughlin as much as 90 tonight. 0-1, just fouled off the end of the bat. And behind home plate it goes. Not even reaching the backstop. That's how much spin it had coming off that end of the bat. And McLaughlin's well ahead 0-2. Curiali pinched up the middle just a bit at second base. Out of the windup, 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, popped up to the right side. And right under it is the right fielder, Borfin. Moves a couple steps to his left, and he makes the catch. Now 2 down, 2 flyouts, 1 to left field and 1 to right field. The 8 and 9 hitters are retired, and now really locked in. It seems like is Trey McLaughlin back at the top of the order now for Caden Trenkel.
Yeah, just 1 out to go here in this inning, and there is a guy warming up in the bullpen for the Commodores, but you know, if you're a Commodores fan, you don't want McLaughlin to come off the mound. He's been so good here tonight, and just that road pitching for Falmouth continues to dominate here this evening from Veterans Field.
First pitch, Trenkel rips on 1 hop through the right side and into right field for a base hit. And he takes a long turn around first, but he'll hop back into first base. A 2-out single, and that's been the story tonight. Just a bunch of 2-out hits, just the 4th hit tonight. Most of them have come with 2 outs. 3 of them have out of the 4 hits. And other than that, I mean, McLaughlin's responded to all of the hits tremendously.
He sure has. Last inning, the 4th, was the only time that he issued a second base runner to reach base, and that was via a walk. So couldn't respond as well to that, but then he got the final out, so it didn't matter in the end.
First pitch to DeLeo in this at-bat is low for a ball. It's 1-0. DeLeo's 0 for 2 tonight. Hit a line drive to Anthony Hall in the first inning. That was a diving full extension catch by Hall in the left center field gap. And then he struck out in the 3rd inning, his last time up. 1-0 out of the stretch. Called strike at the knees on a fastball at 89. Now it's 1-1. This is exactly the kind of pitcher I like. Someone that doesn't really throw too hard but just hits his spots, lets them put the ball in play, and good things happen when your fielders are behind you. Although he does have 4 strikeouts tonight. McLaughlin does. Pickoff attempt over at first, and Malone's over there to almost... Well, he saved that from getting past him. That was so close to getting by him. I think it might have hit off the back of the sliding Trenkel. I'll give him some time to rub it off a little bit. So maybe Trenkel was the one who helped that from being an overthrow. Either way, Trenkel stands on first base, and now will take his lead. Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket in the box. Even in the count 1-1. Here's the pitch from McLaughlin. Breaking ball missed low. Good block by French again. The count moves to 2-1.
And you're talking about how this is the kind of pitcher you like with McLaughlin. Not only not a super hard thrower, but he has a really good breaking ball, and that's gotten some batters tonight. There's been some strikeouts called, like you mentioned. There's 4 tonight, so not a ton, but not a bad amount. As a throw over to first, close, but he's back in safely, very close. But his breaking ball has been working very well tonight, and he does a good job mixing it in. His command with both he and Jonathan French has been really solid out there, and just looking like this is not his first start of the season.
2-1 pitch. High fastball missed at the chin to DeLeo. And you're right. It looks like he's been in mid-season form almost. But that's what's probably beneficial of going deep into a tournament. The Fairfield Stags went to Austin. Unfortunate for them, they had to play the number 2 overall seed in the regional. Didn't make it out as Texas did and went to the College World Series. And the 3-1 misses low for a breaking ball in the dirt, so it'll be ball 4. So now 2 base runners aboard on first and second for the second straight inning with 2 outs. But going back to that, as Caden Grice steps in, the 3-hitter. I mean, on the mound, McLaughlin going long through a season, into the postseason, then coming here in the summer, just looks like he's carried it over. Whatever was working at Fairfield this season, he's carried it over into the summer. But now Mike Landry's going to come out and talk to him with just Jonathan French, the catcher. We've seen Landry make pitching changes this season. We've never seen Jeff Trundy do it. But usually it'll be on the second meeting for the starter that he comes out and makes the change.
And you can bet, he's worked into, I wouldn't call this much of a jam here with 2 outs in the 5th, but he's worked into this, no doubt. He's going to want to work out of it. He just needs 1 more out here in the inning. And with runners on first and second, you have a force at all 3 of the infield bases. The only one aside home plate. So, he wants to work out of it. It looks like they're going to let him stay out there as Mike Landry's going to walk back towards the dugout now. But a tough out here in Caden Grice digging in.
Anthony DeFabia is the left-hander warming up in the Commodores bullpen. Has been one of their best relievers this season. Situation now, runners on first and second with 2 outs for Caden Grice and a 3-0 lead for the Commodores. McLaughlin, long look at second, and the first pitch to Grice, a check swing, he went around. It's 0-1. That was a breaking ball low and away, but Grice was fooled. And McLaughlin with a big deep breath will now toe the rubber once again. Trenkle stands on second, DeLeo on first, with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Set at the belt is McLaughlin. Look at second. A look at home, a look back to second, and the pitch. Lined into left field, and coming in is Bryson Ware a few steps to his right to make the routine catch just in front of the left field line, and that retires the side. So 2 base runners on base again, 1 by a single, 1 by a walk for the second straight inning. They're stranded there, and that's now 6 base runners stranded tonight by this Chatham offense. The score remains 3-0, and we head into the top of the 6th as the Commodores look to add on more.
Including 5th year's master's program at www.curry.edu. I'm looking at the snack shack. I see Professor Monahan there. There he is, and we've got no line. We've got Grace, the grill master, grilling up hamburgers fresh off the grill. We've also got hot dogs. We've also got ice cream from the local scoop. You name it, we have it. Ice cream, it's time for ice cream, but when isn't it? So go over and check out the snack shack. They'll take care of you and all of your ballpark food needs. The 50-50 pot continues to grow. Time is running out. Get your tickets from our volunteers at the raffle table. A reminder that July 1st, we're going to have a fireworks spectacular here. All the fun starts at 6 o'clock with the fireworks going off at 9 o'clock. All brought to you by Chatham Anglers and your friends at various businesses here in Chatham.
We go to the 6th inning, and the Commodores lead 3-0 as they bring 8, 9, and 1 to the plate in the 6th to face off against Alex McFarland once again. McFarland's gone through 2 innings so far, both scoreless. He's given up 4 base runners, only 1 by a hit. Does have a walk as well. Bryson Ware steps in, and the first pitch of the 6th inning is inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Matt Levine and David Hadar welcome you back to Veterans Field, one of the nicest fields we've seen around the league so far. 1-0 popped up in the infield on the right side. The second baseman, Stevenson, ranges to his left a few steps and just makes the catch. That ball came down. It was a towering pop-up. It came down so hard he almost moved his head out of the way of his glove. The ball had some power pushing his glove back towards his face, but nonetheless, one down here in the 6th.
Yeah, the sky now, kind of that dust sort of color, kind of blends in with the ball as it goes up there. And, you know, especially as it gets higher up, it loses the lights over it here in the field. So Stevenson able to track it, but no doubt a loud out.
First pitch ball outside to Anthony Hall. Hall tonight is 0 for 2. Lined out into center field, almost to the wall his last time up. The 1-0 missed outside and low. Hall ahead now 2-0. Anthony Hall just so much power, but the center fielder Trenkle plays well in shallow center. 2-0 pitch. Hall watches ball 3 outside. Now he's ahead 3-0. And do you give him the green light here?
I'm a fan of swinging on 3-0, but I know the traditional coaches, maybe not as much.
3-0, nonetheless, misses upstairs with the ball. And a 4-pitch walk for Anthony Hall, the 9-hitter, and that's a big no-no. A 9 to the 9-hitter, walking him on 4 pitches to now have to face the top of the order once again.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what I said, I like swinging on 3-0. Didn't matter because the pitch wasn't even a swingable pitch, so able to work the walk. But, yeah, you go back to the top of the lineup now, and Colden 0 for 3 on the night, but definitely a guy who's looking to break out of a slump. Now 0 for his last 7.
2 groundouts to third tonight and 1 strikeout. First pitch to Colden, a called strike down the middle after 4 straight balls. Now Parada throws it behind over the glove. That's the second time we've seen that. Throws it back to McFarland, and McFarland just kind of lollygagging, lazy, going back to the mound, just didn't even catch the ball. Luckily, the shortstop Garcia was backing things up, so Hall couldn't advance. But 4 straight balls, now comes back to throw a first pitch strike to Colden. Set at the belt again, and a pickoff attempt has Hall diving back in safely.
You swing on 3-0?
If it's down the middle. If it's the one pitch that I would want to hit, then I'm swinging.
Okay, so it has to be a perfect pitch, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
0-1. Grounded to the left side, again to the third baseman Benefield. The throw on to second is in time. Stevenson doesn't throw it to first, so it'll be a 5-4 fielder's choice for Cody Colden, but he'll stand on first base and trade spots with Anthony Hall. Now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, so Colden there reaching base for the first time tonight, but via fielder's choice. The speed able to carry him down to first, and that resulted in a no-throw from Seth Stevenson at second. Just Colden so fast down the base pass, but not the sort of ball he would have wanted there after the walk to the 9-hitter.
Here's Michael Curiali with 2 outs and a runner on first. He's 1 for 3 tonight. And a pickoff attempt again, this time for Cody Colden. He dives back in safely head first. Curiali lined out to shortstop to Garcia his first time up, struck out swinging in the second, and then singled in the 4th, but was thrown out by the left fielder Chick rather, trying to advance it into a hustle double. Another pickoff attempt, but back in safely is Colden. We've seen Curiali aggressive on the bases all season. He was thrown out trying an early steal at Hyannis on Sunday, then tried the delayed steal. That worked. Trying the hustle double earlier today. It did not work. 3 straight pickoff attempts, and the third one, another one that Colden dives in safely. I mean, these aren't particularly close, and a lot of real estate in the mind of McFarland right now, Cody Colden has. Set at the jersey, and the pitch to Curiali comes in for a strike. And now it's 0-1. That was big off-speed pitch at 81 miles an hour for McFarland. He's ahead 0-1 on the UCLA Bruin. Infield plays at normal depth with 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch. Missed low below the knees. Very close, though, to being called a strike. But it's 1-1. Dark blue skies beyond the center field and right field wall. And then in the left field, you got a little bit of sun left. Some nicer colors as well. Another pickoff attempt. Colden's back in, diving head first. Once more, that's the 4th time since Colden's got on first base. And just 2 pitches thrown in that span to Curiali, and the count 1-1. Set again, right at the numbers. 1-1 pitch. Curiali popped up. Foul on the right side and out of play. He was really late on the fastball there.
Yeah, fortunate to just get a piece of it, but nonetheless battling in this at-bat. He hasn't had too many pitches. He's been up for a while, but like you mentioned, Matt, just so many throwovers towards first at Colden, trying to keep him real close to the bag.
Outfield plays at normal depth as well as the infield. McFarland set, the 1-2 pitch. Curiali watches the breaking ball. Colden tried to advance to second. He'll get back into first without a throw. A pump fake from the catcher, Parada, but no throw down to Grice. I think with 2 outs, they didn't want to try anything crazy because they've already made 3 errors tonight. That might be the smart decision from Parada behind home plate. Would have been very close for Colden getting back, but a really good block by Parada to keep him at first base, not allow him to advance. 2-2 the count with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Colden's running, and it's lined into right field, slicing towards the line away from the right fielder, DeLeo, and it gets down for a base hit. Running on the pitch was Colden, so he'll be waved home. He'll score standing up, and standing at second with an RBI double is Michael Curiali. Drives in yet another run, and he makes it 4-0 Commodores here in the top of the 6th.
Well, that's a huge base hit there for Michael Curiali, not only because it puts up Falmouth by a score now of 4-0, but for Curiali, that's his first extra base hit since June 23rd against Bourne. So almost a week he's gone without having an extra base hit. And a guy who coming into the season, we saw so much power off of his at-bat. In his first few at-bats, he had already had a triple, a couple of doubles, and a home run. Picks up that double there, so it puts a little bit of cushion here for the Commodores as we move into the later stretch of this ball game.
Braden Taylor steps in and takes a first pitch ball outside. Curiali with his 10th RBI of the season, and that now ties his teammate Jace Borfin for the league lead in the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. Braden Taylor, the hitter now, reached base all 3 times, an error, a single, and a walk in that order. 2 runs scored. 1-0 pitch. Taylor hits it high to center field, and Trenkel moves in a couple steps to his left to make the catch to end the inning, but not before a massive RBI double for Michael Curiali, his 10th RBI of the season. Tacks on another. Cody Colden running on the pitch, scores all the way from first, and it's 4-0 Falmouth as we head into the bottom of the 6th.
Fans, I want to remind you that the Chatham Anglers Baseball Clinic starts every Monday at 8 a.m. The 3 different age groups trained by current players, so bring your registration to the field and be ready to play ball. This is the last call for the 50-50 drawing, which will be held at the end of the 7th inning. All proceeds are split between the winner and the Chatham Athletic Association. The grand prize is not collected in 10 minutes. We'll pick another winner. There's still time. Buy your tickets now. Now pitching from Stetson, number 2, Anthony DeFabia.
We go to the bottom of the 6th, and a new pitcher on for the Commodores after a phenomenal outing from Trey McLaughlin, the longest of the season in terms of innings pitched, the longest that the pitchers of this entire staff have kept an opponent off the scoreboard. 5 scoreless innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, and just 4 strikeouts for McLaughlin was really solid. Anthony DeFabia will come on in relief in his 3rd appearance, has been probably the most solid reliever out of the bullpen for this Commodores team. And the first pitch to Kevin Parada, a called strike at the knees. It's 0-1. DeFabia making his 3rd appearance, has gone 7 innings so far, 8 strikeouts in that span, just 5 hits allowed, and 2 walks as well. 0-1 pitch, and it misses just a bit low. It's 1-1.
DeFabia coming in here, his third appearance of the season, and coming off of what, Matt, you and I dubbed as the best outing by any reliever this season.
1-1 is skied, foul down the right field side and over the fence out of play.
That was back on Friday at Hyannis, the first of 2 games at Hyannis this past weekend. He went 4 innings and only 3 hits allowed, no runs crossed the plate, and he picked up 4 strikeouts in that outing. We've had a couple of good outings since then, but I'd still say that was one of the best outings that Falmouth has had this season by any reliever.
1-2 pitch. Parada watches it off the outside corner outside. It's ball 2, so the count 2-2. And 4 scoreless innings at the time was the best. I think tonight McLaughlin might have taken the cake with 5 scoreless. 2-2 comes low and in to make it a full count.
I'm going more reliever side,
yes,
but I would agree tonight, best start by any pitcher easily for Falmouth this season. DeFabia holding that accolade
side
for reliever, exactly.
Yes.
So, we go from one of the best starts here to one of the better relievers here out of the Commodore bullpen.
Not a bad 1-2 punch so far tonight. The 3-2 pitch, popped up foul to the right side out of play behind home plate. That one just disappeared into a tree. The count stays full at 3-2. DeFabia is sophomore from Stetson, Bronxville, New York native. He's a 2-way player for the Hatters, a pitcher and an outfielder as a left-hander. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball ground to the right side. Curiali to his left. Fields the big hop, and the throw to first gets away from Malone and into the dugout. Actually bounces over the dugout of the Commodores on the first base side. And Malone was trucked by Parada as he came down hard. Parada's now going to go down to his knees. Parada was sprinting down the line. He ran into the first baseman, Malone. They collided. Parada's going to get an extra base on the E4. And both of them a little bit shaken up in the lower half. I think they might have collided knees. But just a routine ground ball turned into a bad throw from Curiali. We've seen that several times this season where it's been an iffy throw. This time it's his second error of the year.
Yeah, picks up the error there, and up until this point, I would have said Falmouth playing just about perfect baseball in tonight's contest, but that throw from Curiali gets away from him. There was a late hop on the ball up to him, and I'm not sure if that, as a result of the high hop, just couldn't get a clean grip on the ball, trying to rush the throw because Parada hustling down the line. It was a speedy runner, so Curiali had to be quick with his throw, but it was nowhere close to the bag, and that error now puts a leadoff man in scoring position. That's the first time tonight that anyone for Chatham has reached base without an out on the board.
So John Michael Fail is going to pinch hit for David Mendham here in the 6th with a runner on second in Kevin Parada, who reached on the E4. First pitch from DeFabia is fouled out of play behind home plate, and Fail makes it 0-1. John Michael Fail out of North Greenville University. Batted .391 as a freshman in 2019 and .413 as a sophomore in the 2020 shortened season. DeFabia set at the belt. Nobody out and a runner on second. The 0-1 pitch. Missed up and outside. Now it's 1-1 to Michael Fail. David Mendham was the DH tonight. He went 1 for 2 with a double in the 4th. But coming into pinch hit is John Michael Fail here. 4-0 Commodores here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 pitch. Fisted foul and lined into the netting behind home plate. And the count moves to 1-2.
By the way, that error that Curiali picked up, the 14th of the season for Falmouth, which is second most in the league behind just Harwich, who has 15 coming into tonight's contest. So 14 now on the season for this Falmouth team. Chatham with their 2 tonight, up to 9 on the year.
DeFabia and French redoing the signs after DeFabia looked in for them and didn't like what he saw, and maybe a miscommunication. So he steps off the rubber to do it all over again. Now he looks in for a long time, and that'll errant John Michael Fail to call time as the hitter. He's behind in the count, 1-2. 4 runs on 7 hits and an error for the Commodores. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Anglers. DeFabia set. He looks at second. The 1-2 breaking ball, swing and a miss. And it's down in the dirt, so French clears, throws to first. The runner's going to try to advance from second. He'll get to third safely. And Ducart with a nice pick on the throw from Malone. French did a good job to look the runner on second. Parada back just a little bit, but once he got up to throw to first to complete the strikeout, third. So John Michael Fail, maybe with a productive out, I think you can move the runner over on a drop third strike, but probably not the result he wanted nonetheless. The first strikeout for DeFabia and the first out of the inning here in the 6th. Andrew Benefield, the hitter now. Lefty-righty matchup, and the right-handed hitter Benefield swings through the first pitch. Now it's 0-1. First run of the game for the Anglers stands 90 feet away if they're able to bring him home around to score. It's 4-0 Commodores here in the bottom of the 6th. DeFabia set at the belt, going out of the stretch as a left-hander. The 0-1. Down in the dirt, gets away from French towards the right side. He fields, coming in to score, sliding feet first is Parada. And the first run of the game scores on a wild pitch. And the first run of the game reached base on an error. Advances to third on a drop third strike and then scores on a wild pitch. So a very untraditional way to come around all the way from the plate to then come around to score. But now it's 4-1, and the Anglers get their first run of the game here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, stop me if we've said this before, but those errors for Falmouth just proving costly yet again. Going all the way, it should have been a routine out, and nobody on base here or there for the Commodores. Instead, Parada capitalizes on the error and able to move all the way around to bring home that first run of the ball game.
Count now is 1-2 after Benefield watches a strike, and the 1-2 pitch out of the windup. DeFabia deals the breaking ball low. And now it's 2-2. Benefield tonight is 1 for 1 with a double and a walk. He's reached base both times up at the plate. Recently added to this roster this week for the Anglers. Dallas Baptist, his school was all the way in the Super Regionals this year. 2-2 up and in. Brushes him off the plate just a bit, and the count runs full. One game final so far tonight around the league. YD has defeated Harwich at home 6-4. And the 3-2 pitch. Grounded up the middle. Colden fields the big hop. Quick throw over in time. And a 6-3 ground out is the second out of the inning. But just the second time we've seen a ground out this inning. That big hop off the lip of that grass. It's extremely weird, but it's almost easier for a fielder if they're expecting that hop to field it on that long hop up at their chest so they can make the quicker throw. But both times, both fielders not expecting that bad hop.
Not expecting it, and I mean, even if you are anticipating it, it still can be so tough on you because you don't know where it's going to go while it's in the air. And then on top of that, adjusting your glove and then having to get a good grip on the ball, throw it to first. Just a lot of motions going on there to try and make an out. So a tough out nonetheless, but Colden, the shortstop, able to handle it for the Commodores, and now 2 gone here in the inning.
So 2 away for the hitter. Be a pinch hitter sent to the plate. Logan Britt will pinch hit for Cam Chick. And the first pitch from DeFabia. Line foul into the netting behind the dish. And Britt is behind 0-1. Cam Chick went 0 for 2 with a strikeout tonight. And Logan Britt out of Texas A&M stands in with 2 outs here in the 6th. DeFabia goes out of the windup. The infield and outfield at normal depth. 0-1 breaking ball. Popped up foul and out of play to the right side. And DeFabia is well ahead 0-2. Really good response from DeFabia to buckle down. And as far as he's concerned, he's had a perfect inning. Just that error and that one wild pitch allowed him to come around to score. 0-2 pitch from DeFabia. Fastball high is fouled off into the netting directly behind home plate. And will stay put at 0-2. Logan Britt, the hitter out of Fort Worth, Texas, and plays for the Aggies of Texas A&M. Was drafted in the 35th round of the 2019 draft by the Chicago White Sox. Has appeared in 65 games in his career in Aggie land, including 37 starts. 35 of those starts were this past season in 2021. Teammates with Taylor Smith of the Commodores. 0-2 pitch from DeFabia again. Misses low this time to make it 1-2. Texas A&M has their baseball players list of fun fact, and the one that Logan Britt listed, he's been to Africa twice. 1-2, and he fouls it sky high over the right side and out of play again. To go to Africa twice, that's a fun fact. I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I wonder where in Africa he's been because it's a massive continent.
He's behind in the count 1-2, and DeFabia deals again. Checked his swing. He went around. Yes, he did, says Brandon Johnson on the appeal down to first base. And 2 strikeouts in the inning. And after the error, Anthony DeFabia really buckled down. The error from Michael Curiali allowed the leadoff man Parada to get all the way to second. Moves to third on the drop third strike, and then comes around to score on a wild pitch. So it's 4-1 Commodores as we head to the 7th inning. And I'll pass the play-by-play microphone back over to my partner, David Hadar, when we come back to Veterans Field.
The 50-50 table, where you will find Caroline, who has the microphone. She is the Chatham Anglers intern extraordinaire. And you will sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." I'm looking at the snack shack. I don't see a line. Now's a good time. Now's a good time to check out the snack shack. We've got Grace there. I think that's Katie. Is that Katie too? And I think that's Michael, intern extraordinaire, to take care of you. Maybe that's Bailey. That's Bailey. They'll all take care of you. We have a pitching change. Now pitching for Chatham, the University of Texas Arlington, number 34, Cade Winquest. To welcome Holly Thorndike to the game tonight. Holly's graphics are on the souvenir cup, popcorn cup. So if you want to check out the souvenir popcorn cup, it was drawn by Holly, age 16. Thank you, Holly, for all of your work. Logan Britt now playing left field for the Anglers. Now's a good time to check out the merch tables where you can get all of your Chatham Anglers.
We go to the top of the 7th here from Veterans Field, and our third pitcher of the evening for Chatham will come to the mound. Cade Winquest is on here, the sophomore out of UT Arlington. Comes on in his second appearance of the season. He relieves Alex McFarland, who went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits and just 1 run, with Falmouth leading 4-1 in this ball game. Commodores come to bat, trying to add to this lead after Chatham scored a run in the bottom half of the 6th. Ducart will lead things off with Borfin and French set to come up this half inning for Coach Trundy's team. Winquest with the first pitch home here to Ducart, and it's in for strike 1. Winquest stands at 6'2", originally from Haslett, Texas. Pitched 42 2/3 innings this past season with UT Arlington. His pitch 2 of this at-bat is high and away for ball 1. Struggled this past season, an ERA of just about 7, while also giving up 37 strikeouts to 31 walks. And he's even in the count here, 1-1, and the big right-hander with the delivery home, hit hard on the line into straightaway center, but just a few steps to his left, Caden Trenkel is in to make the grab, and there's one gone here in the top of the 7th.
Ducart, again, hitting the ball so hard on a line. Unfortunate once more, right at a fielder. Caden Trenkel's right there to line it up in center, but the approach is right there every single time. Take it to center field or the other way on a line, and he's done it. Only one has fallen tonight, though.
So one gone here for Jace Borfin. And the delivery home is on the outside corner of the plate for strike 1. Borfin has reached base tonight just about every way you can without picking up a hit. He was hit by a pitch in the first, he walked in the third, and then reached on an error by the third baseman back in the fifth. And he pops this one high and just behind us out of play, well into the night sky, but it had just enough carry to get beyond us here along the left side, just behind home plate. And so the count now 0-2 here to the Oklahoma Sooner. Borfin picked up 2 of the 3 hits for the Commodores yesterday, but trying to pick up that first base hit of the night tonight. The pitch home here from Winquest is down in the dirt as it bounces away from Parada behind the dish. And that's the first ball in this count. Fantastic night here in Chatham. Such a great crowd here on a Tuesday evening. All around the ballpark, just fans enjoying this contest between 2 of the best teams in the CCBL. The 1-2 delivery here from Winquest is on the outside corner of the plate, and Jace Borfin retired for the first time tonight. The first strikeout for Cade Winquest, and there's now 2 gone here in the 7th.
Gorgeous location on the pitch on the outside corner to Borfin. That's the first time we really haven't seen him do something tonight. I mean, on base 3 times, but even in general this season hasn't struck out too many times. And goes down looking with a perfect pitch on that outside corner.
Here's Jonathan French now, who's 1 for 2 on the evening, and a breaking ball in over the heart of the plate for strike 1 here on French. Falmouth leading 4-1 here in the top of the 7th. 2 runs in the first, a run in the third, and a run for each of the teams in the 6th to bring us to this scoreline. Pitch 2 of the at-bat is inside for ball 1 here on the Clemson catcher. French singled in his first at-bat, then popped out to center in the third, and then reached on an error by the first baseman Grice back in the 5th. And the 1-1 pitch is down and inside, now 2-1 here on French. Falmouth back at home tomorrow evening to take on what coming into tonight is the last place team in the CCBL, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who have just 2 points on the season, 1-6 coming into today. And the 2-1 delivery here from Winquest, a huge swing and a miss from French, and the count now 2-2 here on the catcher.
Hyannis right now, actually their game just went final a couple of minutes ago. They lost 8-1 to Katuitt tonight, so now 1-7 still with 2 points, so sitting in last place.
They'll be at the Gov tomorrow night along with these Commodores. 2-2 delivery here from Winquest. It's low and away, but it's fanned on by French, and that's going to end the inning. 1-2-3, the Commodores go down in order for just the 2nd time this evening, and back-to-back Ks for Cade Winquest ends the inning. Still 4-1 Falmouth here as it's time to stretch from Veterans Field. We've got the bottom half of the 7th when we come back here from Chatham.
All right, we've got 7th inning stretch Hall of Famer Jake Terrio, Fiona Velez, Jack Sheehan, Ben Mills, Ryan Joseph, and the birthday boy, Anthony Bolton, to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We're going to do it on 3. Are you ready? All right, on 3. A 1, a 2, a 3.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Rooting for the Anglers. It's the shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
That's how you do it, Fiona. Jack, Jacob, Hall of Famer, Ben, Ryan, and again, happy birthday to Anthony.
What about Gracie? Gracie, come on, 16.
And a happy birthday to Gracie, who turns 16 tomorrow.
Anthony DeFabia in for his 2nd inning of work here against the Anglers in a 4-1 ball game with the Commodores leading here on the road.
Garcia.
Falmouth trying to improve to 4-0-1 on the road this season. Chatham, meanwhile, 3-0 at home, so something going to budge here tonight. Of course, unless we end up in a tie, which I think Matt and I would love to avoid. First pitch home here from Anthony DeFabia to Matt Garcia is bunted foul out of play.
How many ties do you think Commodores will end up with this season? Already 2 through 7 games.
Yeah, considering, not even in one extra inning this year, I'm going to say it happens. I don't like the ties. I'm going to say 4 more times in total.
Okay.
0-1 delivery here from DeFabia. Again, fouled out of play. This one on top of the Commodores' dugout. Now 0-2. How about, what do you think?
I mean, it's the Price is Right, so I can't go over on the prediction. I'll say 5 total.
0-2 delivery, a slow chopper over to the right side. DeFabia comes out, falls on his stomach, and underhands the ball over to Malone at first. Malone dropped the ball, though, and so safe at first is Matt Garcia. Quite the play from Anthony DeFabia. The ball was on target. I just don't think Malone was expecting it.
Well, this first base position needs to be cleaned up soon enough because there's been so many unexpected things that's happened over there at first between Bryson Ware, Brandon Malone, and Taylor Smith. Someone's got to separate themselves from the other two and really take over this position and run with it, because DeFabia almost made one of the best plays I've ever seen in person, diving, and while he dove, just shoveling the ball with his left hand. And if Malone was able to catch that, I think that would have been probably one of the best plays I've ever seen. But he just dropped it, and now the leadoff man is aboard. And
they do rule that a hit for those of you scoring at home. So a leadoff single there by Matt Garcia, and strike one taken to Seth Stevenson, the 9-hitter here for the Anglers. So the leadoff man reaches for the second straight inning. When it happened back in the 6th, Kevin Parada came around to score the first run of the ballgame for the Anglers. And the 0-1 delivery high and away here on Stevenson as the count evens up at 1-1.
Rarely do you ever see pitchers dive in the field to make a play, but DeFabia, as a two-way guy, an outfielder as well, has that mentality to just go out and make every play you possibly can. So he fields his own position, but also does everything he can athletically to put his body on the line to make the play.
The lefty is set, holds the ball belt high, and now the delivery from the stretch upstairs as it's above the helmet of Seth Stevenson to make the count 2-1. Seeing a lot of two-way players this season here in the CCBL. We've mentioned it a lot on our broadcast. A lot of these teams fielding guys who can move around the field of play. 2-1 delivery now is inside, and the count runs to 3-1. Here is DeFabia in danger of walking his first batter of the night. DeFabia's third outing on the bump this season here for the Commodores. Comes set, a look towards first, and now the pitch home is in over the heart of the plate. Stevenson was crowding the plate a bit, but gets the strike called by the home plate umpire, Joe Caraco. Count now full. Stevenson last night was just a home run shy of the cycle in that tie at Bourne. And on the 3-2, DeFabia going to throw over to first. No tag applied by Malone. Just keeping Matt Garcia close to first. Payoff pitch is hit on the left side on one hop, fielded by Taylor, and then the throw over to first in time for the double play. A correction fielded by Colden, but regardless, the flip to Curiali at second, then the throw down to first in time, and a double play there for the Commodores to get out of the inning. We haven't seen many double plays this season from Falmouth, but able to turn one there.
That's their 4th double play on the ground turn this season. That's the first 2 outs of the inning. And just a really good turn by the shortstop, Colden, to get it out of his glove quickly.
And the first pitch that comes home to Caden Trenkel, he gets hit by it, so he's going to take the trot down to first here with 2 outs in the inning. So Trenkel reaches base for the second time this evening on a hit by pitch. Well, first time on a hit by pitch, second time reaching base here tonight for the Anglers. He leads off of first with 2 outs here in the inning, and here's the 2-hitter, Jake DeLeo, who takes strike one just below the knees. A close call there, but ball one awarded here to DeLeo. Falmouth with a 4-1 lead here in the bottom half of the 7th. Chatham in danger of dropping its first game at home this season. DeFabia set, a long look towards first. Now the pitch home. This one a bit higher in the exact same location, so it falls in for a strike. Count now 1-1. Leo waves that bat around a couple times, now brings it back. DeFabia started to go home and then deliver it over towards first for Brendan Malone. No tag applied once again. Count remains 1-1 here on the right-handed hitter, Jake DeLeo. DeFabia set yet again. Battle of the twos out there. DeFabia wears number 2, DeLeo wears number 2. Pitch home, another slow roller down the third baseline, and this one will go foul. Both DeFabia and French gave a hard run at it, but it ends up outside of the field of play. So count now 1-2 here on the Georgia Tech hitter. Chatham tonight with just 5 hits in the ball game. That lone run that came across was Kevin Parada in the 6th. Reached on an error by Michael Curiali at second. That allowed him to get all the way to second. Then advanced to third on a strikeout, but the throw allowed him to move down. And then a wild pitch brought him home. Another throw over here to first. Close play at the bag, but Trenkel back in there safely. Trenkel with a good lead over at first. A 1-2 count here on Jake DeLeo. DeFabia set, and now he's going to step off the mound to run through the signs again with his Clemson catcher. Sky completely dark here over Veterans Field. A little after 9 o'clock here. The runner goes, and the hit is lined right to Curiali, and he makes the grab as he falls towards the ground, and that does it for the inning. Commodores able to avoid any trouble there after a couple of anglers reach base, but after 7 innings, it's still a 4-1 Falmouth lead here from Veterans Field. And before we send it to break, let's send it over to Joanne Bethay, who just got done with her 3rd stadium review of the season.
I will say I think this has been my favorite part of sideline reporting, is getting to test out all and review all the different away teams' ballpark food. So if you've been following on Twitter, you've been seeing my reviews, and today I was able to try out a local treat here from the Shack here at Chatham. They gave me Cape Cod Pops, which is actually made by Local Scoops. It's a business in Orleans, and they told me that they're going to have a local scoop food truck here for the 4th of July. So I might have to pitch to our concession stands to sell these pops because they're really good.
So I have to ask, is this this is ice cream you're talking about?
No, it's like on a stick.
What is it then? What is it on a stick?
It's like ice cream dipped in chocolate on a stick, but like with toppings.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. You have to ask Ryan. He had one too. I think he gave a pretty good review of it as well.
I've never heard of a. It sounds almost like a popsicle, but we're talking more ice cream, not popsicle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Think like a fudge pop, like a fancy fudge pop.
And are they made in Chatham, or are they made?
They're made in Orleans.
In Orleans,
At
okay.
Local Scoop. So I'm giving Local Scoop a shout out right now.
All right, just up the road. So it's on Twitter, you said?
Yes, the review's on Twitter, so they can all go take a look.
Yeah, Commodores fans, if you're listening to this, go tune into that, and we'll be back here on July 26th. So if you're around,
Let us know we won't be here on the 4th.
Yeah, not here on July 4th. But if you're around on July 26th, be sure to come out here, Veterans Field. You can get one of. Remind me, what are they called again?
Cape Cod Pops by Local Scoop.
You can get a Cape Cod Pop by Local Scoops here at Veterans Field. Joanne, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for another great stadium food review.
Of course. Thank you, David.
All right. So we start the transition now from the 7th to the 8th. The Commodores coming up to bat late in this ball game here, still with a 4-1 lead. Matt, are you more an ice cream guy, an Italian ice guy, sorbet? Where are we with you?
Sorbet, come on. No. Ice cream any day of the week, ice cream. In a baseball game, you got to get in the baseball helmet, too. But I don't know if they have that here.
Brendan Malone takes ball 1 down in the dirt. Yeah, a helmet is my favorite way to consume ice cream at a ball game. That's usually custard, but it's still ice cream.
It's ice cream.
So what's your favorite flavor?
Are we talking vanilla or chocolate? Or are we talking
No,
anything? Oof. That's a tough one. See, I don't know if I have one. But if I'm choosing between vanilla or chocolate or swirl, I'd probably go swirl. But if it's just vanilla or chocolate, it's only vanilla.
Okay. Do you prefer custard or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, okay. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Count sits at 1-1 here on Brennan Malone here on the top of the 8th. Still on the bump here for The gateman is Cade Winquest. And the 1-1 delivery from the tall right-hander is well inside. Malone has to dip out of the way from that ball. Now 2-1, with the Commodores leading 4-1. The food reviews from Joanne have been a highlight of our first visit to each of these ballparks, as the 2-1 pitch fouled on the right side out of play behind the Commodores dugout, now 2-2. And we make the trip at least once to every ballpark this summer. This is our third ballpark of the year. We've already been to Hyannis, Wareham, and now here. We'll pick up Catuit at the tail end of the week. Commodores playing there on Saturday. 2-2 delivery down in the dirt yet again, and Parada goes down to scoop that ball up. Count runs full here on the leadoff man, Brendan Malone. Seven, 8, 9 coming up here for the Commodores this half inning as Malone crushes this one to right center field, but looks like it'll stay in the field of play as into right center field. Caden Trenkle with a long run, and he's able to make the grab. That one caught on the edge of the warning track in front of the 357 sign out in right center. Off the bat, it looked like it may have had the power, but it ends up staying in here in this ballpark.
Well, off the bat, it looked like it was probably going to carry a little bit more than it did, but once it got up to its apex, it just really stayed, and it kind of died in the air. It came down in play enough for Trinkle to run a long way to field. He was playing in dead center field. He caught that directly in left center, so he had to run a long way, but Malone showing that pop a little bit more than we've seen in game.
Malone now 0 for 3 on the evening with a walk. Here's Bryson Ware, the 8-hitter, who digs in with one out here in the top of the 8th. And he takes ball one inside and at the letters. Correction, count now 2-0 here on Ware. Ware, who picked up his first base hit of the ball game earlier tonight, takes strike one over the plate. Now 2-1 here on the Auburn Tiger. Actually, going back to the ice cream conversation real quick, I was able to get a couple years ago, I was at Citi Field, and I'm a big fan of the ice cream in helmets, but they had an ice cream in the apple that comes out, the apple that comes out in center field when there's a home run. They put ice cream in that apple, and it was one of the more unique ways I've ever eaten ice cream.
The Mets do that really well, I will say. At Citi Field, they have really nice bobbleheads, really nice giveaways like that to eat. They have the popcorn helmet. You can get a catcher's helmet, like they wear that backwards plastic hat almost. They could eat popcorn out of for fans.
3-1 delivery down low, and Bryson Ware able to work a 5-pitch walk. So he takes the trot down to first for the first base runner of this inning.
That franchise has to do anything they can to get fans there. So I can joke about that. They do it pretty well to get people to come to Citi Field.
A Mets fan and a Yankees fan here on the broadcast in Red Sox territory. 9-hitter Anthony Hall digs in now with one out in the inning, with Bryson Ware leading off of first. Winquest set and comes home with the pitch. It's inside on Hall for ball one here on the left-handed hitter. Yeah, I have to say, I've been to Citi Field a good number of times, and I always enjoy my trip there. Not a Mets fan, but I do enjoy the subway ride and just the atmosphere around Citi Field. It's a good time. 1-0, and before the pitch, Winquest with a quick turn and throw over to first for the pickoff attempt, but Bryson Ware with the head first slide is safe. Commodores leading 4-1 here in the top of the 8th. One out in the inning. 7 hits for Falmouth, 5 hits for Chatham. And this one is lined. Oh, check that. It was off one hop, caught by Caden Grice at first. Took a quick hop just in front of Anthony Hall and then bounced all the way to Grice at first. And so count now 1-1 here on Hall. Winquest looks in for the sign. He dangles his right arm down. Now comes set. Belt high, a nod towards first. Cut another one, and the 1-1 delivery is inside for ball two here on Anthony Hall.
The only other game going on right now in the league is Wareham and Orleans. The Gatemen have a 10-4 lead over the Firebirds in Orleans.
Throw over to first, and it gets away from Grice, but it stays in the field of play, so no advancement from from Ware down at first.
A late start for the Commodores tonight at 7 p.m. here in Chatham. That's their latest start of the year so far for Falmouth.
2-1, and the delivery home, up and away, now 3-1 here on Hall. Yeah, only 4 games today. Both Brewster and Bourne were off, so if Falmouth can hold on to this lead, granted, all teams end up playing the same amount of games, but at least in the standings for the time being, Falmouth would be within 3 points of Bourne, and the two teams play one another Friday night at the Gov, a huge game that's going to be, as a 5-pitch walk is worked by Anthony Hall. The final pitch of that at-bat was down in the dirt. So now runners on first and second here for Falmouth off of back-to-back walks.
Cannot walk the 8 and 9 hitters after getting 1 out in an inning. That's going to get Parada to come out to talk to him. But when you come in and you get the first out, can't walk the next 2 guys that are the 8 and 9 hitters, because now you got to face the top of the order.
There is a right-handed reliever up in the Chatham bullpen. And actually check that. Now as Parada is going to start his walk back towards home plate, time's going to be called, and the pitching coach for the Anglers, Dennis Cook, is going to come out to talk with his battery out on the mound. And so Cody Colden will go now talk with the Commodores' third base coach here in the top of the 8th. Commodores haven't had too many times tonight multiple base runners on at one point, especially as this game has moved on. But they have so here off of a couple of walks that were issued by Cade Winquest, just the 5th and 6th walks, respectively, of the night for Falmouth that came here in the inning. And we go back to the top of the lineup here for Cody Colden, who's looking for his first base hit of the day. He's 0 for 4, reached on a fielder's choice, and came around to score in the 6th. And he digs in here now with a couple of runners on. Trying to give a little bit of padding here to this Falmouth lead. Winquest set. Couple looks towards second, and now the delivery home, and bunt is shown. A great bunt down the third baseline. No one was in position for it, and safe at first is Cody Colden. The bases are now loaded for the Commodores here in the 8th. The third baseman, Benefield, was not expecting the bunt. He didn't give much of a charge at it. Winquest ended up being the man to play it, but he had no throw. Bases loaded here for Falmouth.
Well, during that mound visit from Chatham, saw Cody Colden go down to his third base coach and hitting coach Brett Becker. Had a little chat. Colden gets in the box. Third baseman playing back, and he bunts the first pitch perfectly down the line in no man's land, and he's able to beat it out even without a throw. Almost got there before anybody even fielded the ball. So now the base is loaded.
Bases loaded now for Michael Curiali, who already has 1 RBI tonight for the Commodores. Still only 1 out in the inning, and a huge swing and a miss on the first pitch. Makes the count 0-1 here on the UCLA Bruin Curiali. Tonight, Curiali is 2 for 4 with a single and a double. And like I mentioned, picked up that RBI in his last at-bat, scoring Colden in the 6th. On third is Bryson Ware. On second, Anthony Hall. On first, Cody Colden. And set is Winquest. Breaking ball down in the dirt. It gets away from Parada, but no advancement of the runners as he was able to track it down pretty quickly. And so now 1-1 here on Michael Curiali. Falmouth with a 3-run lead, but no doubt would love to just make a little bit more breathing room for their bullpen in the final 2 innings of this game. Winquest looks in for the sign, now is set. No look towards the bases, the pitch home, another swing and a miss from Curiali, and now it's 1-2 here on the UCLA Bruin.
Curiali way late on a fastball there on the outside corner.
A fastball that was delivered out of the arm of the UT Arlington pitcher out on the bump. 1 ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded here for Falmouth in the top of the 8th with just 1 out. And just before Winquest's delivery, he calls time to go through the signs again with Parada. So we'll do it again here, as now he has his sign. A deep breath, and the pitch home. Again, down in the dirt as it's low and away. Now 2-2 here on Michael Curiali. Well, this is one of the guys Falmouth would loves to have at the plate in this situation. Already with 1 home run on the season, Curiali has, and Matt mentioned it earlier, but tied for the team lead in RBIs with 10. 2-2 delivery here from Winquest, and it's fouled into play. So a foul ball from Curiali as it rolled just in front of home plate. Count remains 2-2 here on the right-handed hitter.
It hit off of his foot and into play, erranting the foul ball.
So he takes a light walk around before now stepping back into the batter's box. Calls for time as he comes in, and now everybody in the field to play ready. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Falmouth leading 4-1. The pitch home is another foul ball that bounced into the left-hander's batter box before rolling into the field of play. Parada was quickly up to field it and was frustrated that that was called a foul ball. He thought that it was fair, but the home plate umpire tonight quick to signal foul, putting both of those hands up. So still 2-2 here as Curiali is making Winquest work out there on the mound. Again, Ware at third, Hall at second, and Colden at first here for the Commodores. Winquest set, a look towards third, and another 2-2 pitch home, and this one a slow chopper up towards the pitcher. The throw underhanded to home is in time to make the first out, so a couple of slow choppers from Curiali that finally end up fair, and he's unable to do anything there as Colden out at home, or excuse me, Ware out at home, and there's now 2 gone in the inning, bases still loaded.
Number 20, Braden Taylor.
Just a tough at-bat for Curiali, who did everything right in terms of working pitches and fouling things off, but that one pitch that he does put in play is a dinky ground ball right back to the pitcher, and Winquest just knew exactly what to do with it. You got to toss that to the plate underhand. And the catcher, Parada, able to come out and field his position, stepping on the plate rather, like it's first base.
2 gone now, and bases loaded here for Braden Taylor, who takes strike 1 over the heart of the plate. Taylor tonight 1 for 2. Has been on base 3 times, but just 1 hit to his name this evening. Did reach on an error and a walk as well. Behind in the count here, 0-1 in the top of the 8th. Falmouth leading 4-1. Winquest delivery home is popped foul out of play down the left side. And now Taylor behind 0-2. Fans here at Veterans Field watching intently. Their team trailing by 3. Trying to hold it at that. Winquest set again here. And the pitch home is lined into right field. Going back, Jake DeLeo. And it's off the fence as it falls. 1 run scores in Anthony Hall. A second will score in Cody Colden. Michael Curiali rounds third. He touches home. And a 2-out, 3 RBI bases clearing double for Braden Taylor, who now on the season has 5 RBIs after that massive base hit here in the top of the 8th. 3 runs in the inning for the Commodores to make it 7-1.
Braden Taylor emerging as one of the best prospects that we will see this summer for Falmouth. Behind in the count 0-2, and it doesn't matter. He gets a pitch to hit in the zone. He's going to swing anyway with 2 strikes, and he's inches away from that being a grand slam. It hits right off the top of the fence. Just such a good piece of hitting as Ducart fouls the first pitch out of play to the left side. But Braden Taylor coming up in big spots every night. It seems like when he's put in a situation, he's capitalizing. And there's a reason he was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. He's really showing out so far on the Cape.
He sure is, and there's a reason that we see him in the lineup night in, night out here for Coach Jeff Trundy. As the 0-1 delivery from Winquest is just outside, now 1-1 here on Jake Ducart. So Taylor reaching base safely in 4 of his 5 at-bats this evening. Off of a couple of base hits, 3 RBIs on that double just moments ago, scoring Hall, Colden, and Curiali. 1-1 delivery is in over the heart of the plate. Strike 2 on Ducart.
And for that to come with an 0-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th in a 3-run ball game, that's just an even bigger spot because now you put your team up 6 runs. Now it's 7-1, and the back end of your bullpen is going to have a much easier time with this.
Winquist set. Pitch home is a slow roller back to Winquist, and he's able to field it, takes a jog over towards first, and underhands it to Caden Grice, the first baseman. And after that out, Cade Winquist slaps his glove in frustration after giving up 3 runs off the bat of Braden Taylor, who now has 5 RBIs on the season, one of his biggest base hits of the year. Makes it 7-1 Falmouth as we go to the bottom of the 8th here from Veterans Field.
Now pitching for Falmouth. Number 40, Wesley Sweat of the University of South Carolina.
Bottom of the 8th here from Veterans Field, and a new pitcher on for the Commodores. Wesley Sweat comes in for his 3rd outing of the season. He relieves Anthony DeFabia after DeFabia went 2 innings here tonight. Sweat on the bump for the first time since June 26th, and an 11-9 loss to Harwich back at the Gov. And his first outing on the road this season comes against Chatham here as Caden Grice takes strike 1 on a breaking ball. Sweat out of the University of South Carolina, and then you've got a Clemson hitter and a Clemson catcher as the 0-1 is grounded over to short. Colden with the field and the throw in time across the diamond for the first out of this inning.
That's an Ole ground ball if you're Cody Colden at shortstop. Just threw his glove at the baseball and look what I found type of play. But he was able to make the throw in time.
That brings up Kevin Parada now, who came around to score the only run of the ball game after reaching on an error by Michael Curiali back in the sixth. Excuse me. First pitch from Sweat is chopped slowly over to third. Ducart fields it, long throw, and he's able to make it in time as he beats Parada by a couple of steps. So just a few pitches here and 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th.
Great job by Sweat. Get some ground balls, let your fielders field. You don't need to throw overpowering stuff to be good at this game on the mound. Couple of nice pitches in the zone. You get a couple of ground balls and quickly 2 outs and 3 pitches.
Here's John Michael Fail, who came in back in the 6th as the pinch hitter for David Mendham. And the first pitch to him is just inside for ball 1 here on the right-handed hitter.
Now, don't get me wrong. Sweat is out here throwing in the mid-90s on the fastball, so he is throwing pretty hard, but still not dominating, just getting those ground balls.
Take something off of it there on the breaking ball for for ball 1. That pitch came in at 84 miles an hour. And now the 1-1 delivery from the South Carolina Gamecock down in the dirt to make it 2-1.
And the way you follow up a bases clearing double with 2 outs, very next half inning, go 1, 2, 3, your momentum's going into the 9th.
2-1 delivery. A slow chopper back over towards Sweat on the mound. He comes in to field it. Throw over to first is in time to his South Carolina teammate Brendan Malone. And a quick 1-2-3 inning that the Anglers go down in order here in the 8th. So it's still 7-1 Falmouth here from Veterans Field. And we go to the final frame here in Chatham with the Commodores on top.
Now pitching for Chatham. From Georgia Tech, number 9, Zach Maxwell.
New pitcher on the mound here for Chatham as we go into the top of the 9th. Zach Maxwell will come on here for the Anglers in the final frame of this ball game, with Falmouth leading 7-1 here on the road, trying to improve to 4-0-1 here on the road this season. Falmouth has been dominant away from the Gov and trying to up that record here yet again tonight. Commodores bats have been active all game long. Coming into tonight, the Anglers at home had only allowed 5 total runs this season. Falmouth comes in tonight, scores 7, and that brings us to this point in the ball game. And as I mentioned, coming in, Zach Maxwell is into the game here for Chatham, coming in from Georgia Tech. It's his 2nd outing of the season for the Anglers. Pitched back on June 23rd against Brewster. Went 2 innings and gave up a run. Had 5 total strikeouts, though, in that outing. And is a big right-hander out on the mound. Stands at 6'6", 280 pounds. First pitch home here to Jake Ducart. Check that. Jace Borfin is in for a swinging strike 1. Borfin, French, and Malone set to come up this half inning for Coach Trundy's team. And now 0-2, 95 miles per hour on that fastball from Maxwell. Matt, this Anglers bullpen has some really strong arms that have come out.
McFarland throwing in the mid-90s, Winquist in the low 90s, and now Maxwell matching in the mid-90s as well.
The 0-2 pitch just outside on Borfin. The count now 1-2 here on the Oklahoma Sooner. Falmouth back at home tomorrow night against Hyannis. A 6 o'clock first pitch from the Gov. Certainly hope you can join us at the Gov. If not, we'll be live on our YouTube page. Go on a few minutes before first pitch, 5:45 or so, with our pregame show. And then after tomorrow, an off day on Thursday, before being back at home on Friday against Bourne. 2-2 delivery here from Maxwell. Home is hit right up the middle, back to where it came from, and it's down for a base hit as it gets just over the glove of Matt Garcia, the shortstop, and falls into left center field. And that's another base hit for the Commodores. That's Borfin's first of the night. He's now reached base 4 times tonight, and a leadoff single.
takes 96 on the outside corner, up the middle, more towards the left side of second base, so taking it the other way, the left-handed hitter did. And him and Braden Taylor have been the absolute bright spots of this offense so far.
Borfin leads off of first with Jonathan French digging in now here in the top of the ninth, and a throw over to first. A head-first slide from Borfin, and he's in safely. Borfin with 3 stolen bases on the season, which is tied for the team lead. Up there with Maui Ahuna, who we didn't see tonight. Ahuna, a late scratch from the lineup. He was set to start the game at short for the Commodores, but Colden, just a few minutes before first pitch, announced as the starter tonight. As strike one on French. French thought that ball was high and away. I think he may have a case. He's looking back kind of disgruntled at the home plate umpire, but he'll dig back in now, behind in the count 0-1. Borfin leading off of first. Falmouth leading this ball game 7-1 here in Chatham. The pitch home on a breaking ball is in for strike 2, and French down in the count quickly. French tonight is 1 for 3. Reached way back in the first on a 2 RBI single into right field. Got those first couple of runs across for Falmouth. And the 0-2 pitch down in the dirt gets away from Parada. Unable to locate it initially, which allows Borfin to take the trot down to second. And so now a runner in scoring position here in the ninth. No outs in the inning. And a 1-2 count here on Jonathan French. Matt, just every inning that Falmouth comes to bat, seems like they, in some way, shape, or form, just get runners on and can make you pay for that.
They've had a runner in scoring position nearly every inning tonight.
Borfin on second, and the 1-2 is lined into right center field. Going back is the right fielder, and it's down at the edge of the fence. It lands on the warning track and rolls all the way there. Borfin with a big turn around third, and he's going to be held up. He thought he had an opportunity to score, but he's going to be held up at third, and Jonathan French into second with a double there. His second base hit of the night, and his third, check that, his fourth extra base hit of the season. And so now runners on second and third here for Falmouth in the top of the ninth. Still nobody out.
Jonathan French now with 2 hits in each of his last 3 starts, Friday, Sunday, and tonight. Extra base hit in each of them as well. Has been red hot at the plate.
Here's Brennan Malone, who takes strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate. Well, Falmouth already with a 6-run lead here in the ninth. More than anything, this would just pad it, give a little insurance to the Commodores. A Falmouth team that's one of the best and most potent offenses in the CCBL. Count now 1-1 here on Malone. Falmouth coming into tonight, 47 total runs scored on the season, which is tied for the team league, or excuse me, for the league lead, along with Bourne and Katuitt. So add in the 7 runs tonight. Falmouth now up to 54 runs on the season. And the 1-1 is upstairs above the helmet of Malone to make the count 2-1. So Katuitt scored 8 runs tonight, so Falmouth would need at least 1 to match them, and a good opportunity here in this game to do that. Bourne not in action tonight as they have their off day today. Count sits at 2-1 here on Brennan Malone, with runners on second and third, and the pitch home is popped up, foul over on the right side, tailing out of play, and it'll end up finding the seats. And so the count now 2-2 here, as that pitch was 98 miles an hour, shown by our radar gun.
I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, that seems a bit off, but
scoreboard flashing in the mid-90s so far. I've seen as high as 96. Our gun shows 98, so let's make it 97. We'll meet in the middle.
Call the average. Count sits at 2-2 here now on Brennan Malone. South Carolina Gamecock is set, and the Georgia Tech pitcher comes home. Another foul ball out of play, sends several kids running for it as it finds its way into the parking lot. Fortunately, it ends up rolling back towards the grassy area, so nobody running around in the parking lot as some cars starting to leave here with Chatham down by 6 in the inning. And the 2-2 pitch home, a breaking ball that had Malone fooled. He didn't swing into that ball until that ball was just about over home plate. It was a half swing from him, and that's the first out of the inning.
Maxwell with a lot of velocity and then mixes it up with the breaking ball. Throwing to his teammate of a catcher at Georgia Tech, Parada, and Maxwell battery mates at Georgia Tech. And, I mean, when you work with somebody for that long and you come back in summer ball and do it, it's going to be fairly easy. It hasn't been so far tonight as he's worked himself into a jam.
First pitch to Bryson Ware, in for a ball.
Maxwell drafted by the Yankees in the 2019 draft in the 30th round and had been clocked at 98 miles per hour on his fastball in a showcase prior to going to Georgia Tech.
1-0 is popped out of play, foul, and again finds the seats behind home plate.
So maybe our radar gun was correct. He has been clocked at 98 before. That was before even going to college. That was in a showcase before Georgia Tech.
It didn't seem 98 to me, but I don't know. Maxwell shakes off a pitch from Parada, and now comes set. Runner still on second and third here for the Commodores, and the pitch to Ware is down and in, now 2-1 here on the Auburn Tiger. So we now have, for the first time that we've seen this season, a pitcher-catcher battery from the same school. We have yet to see a pitcher face, though, a hitter from that same school. As the 2-1 delivery, big swing and a miss from Ware. His head came way out of the plate. Now 2-2.
That was an extremely awkward swing for Bryson Ware. As a right-handed hitter, usually you bring that bat all the way back with your left hand, but he kind of let go with his right hand a little too early as he was swinging. Almost made a one-handed swing. He kind of looked at his hands, wondering what had gone wrong.
2-2 delivery, another swing and a miss, and that's back-to-back breaking balls that Maxwell has been able to set down Commodores batters on. So after allowing a couple of leadoff base hits, has responded well with back-to-back strikeouts, and there's now 2 gone here in the inning.
Just nasty stuff from Maxwell, and back-to-back strikeouts with the runners on second and third. It's a much different situation now with 2 outs. And to go and get those outs yourself after putting yourself in a jam, it's a good feeling on the mound.
The 9-hitter Anthony Hall digs in here, and he takes ball 1 up and away. Falmouth leading 7-1 here in this ball game. 2 runs across for the Commodores in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the sixth, and 3 back in the 8th to take us to this point in the ball game. Maxwell set, and the pitch home is in over the plate for strike 1. Count now 1-1 here on Anthony Hall. Hall steps back into the box. Maxwell set. Pitch home. Bounces like 10 feet in front of home plate. And Parada no chance at stopping it. So Jace Borfin will score from third easily. That ball ended all the way up in the dugout of the Anglers. And so make it now 8-1 Falmouth here on top of Chatham here in the top of the 9th as Borfin scores on a wild pitch.
Second time tonight, Commodores have come home to score on a wild pitch.
That pitch was nowhere close to the plate. It barely landed, I think, in the dirt, or bounced first in the dirt on the way home, kind of where the grass meets the dirt. But it just got up and away from Parada. 2-1 sits the count here on Hall and swings it off of his shin. And so he's going to take a walk gingerly around, try and shake this off. Sits even here with a 2-2 count here in the top of the 9th. Jonathan French now at third for the Commodores after advancing on that wild pitch. Maxwell looks in after giving up his second run of the season, and the 2-2 delivery, swing and a miss, and he sets down another Commodore via the K. So 3 strikeouts he picks up in that inning, but not before Commodores pick up a couple more base hits, able to bring a run across. And we go to the final frame of this game with the Commodores leading 8-1 here over the Anglers. Stick around for the end of it when we come back here from Chatham.
Each Each night, the players will be available for photos and autographs for 10 to 15 minutes after the game. Please wait until the gate is open. Thank you.
Bottom of the ninth here from Veterans Field, and Wesley Sweat out to close things out here for the Commodores after Falmouth scored 1 run in the ninth to pad a little more onto their lead. And going into the ninth, the Anglers will send to bat their 6, 7, and 8 hitters with Andrew Benefield, Andrew Benefield, Logan Britt, and Matt Garcia set to come up here for the home side.
Pinch hitter for Chatham, number 24, Josh Rivera out of the University of Florida.
And so as I say that, Josh Rivera comes in as a pinch hitter here for the Anglers in the bottom of the ninth. Chatham in danger of dropping its first home game of the season and falling to 3-4-2 here on the year. And so Rivera digs in here for his first at-bat of the night. And the first pitch home from Wesley Sweat is in for strike one. Matt, as I say that, Chatham in danger of falling to 3-4-2. I saw a tweet this morning as the 0-1 delivery from Sweat fanned on and missed from Rivera, now 0-2. I saw a tweet this morning that said that these standings in the CCBL this year are starting to look a lot like MLS or Premier League standings as the 0-2 pitch is grounded over to short. Colden's throw takes Malone off the bag. And so a leadoff man aboard here for Chatham in the bottom half of the ninth.
That's a generous single I just gave him. But going back to your point, it also, I saw that same tweet, said NHL or MLS Premier League with the ties, like an overtime win or loss in hockey. This is just, it's so weird. And that extra inning, to have that 10th inning like the Cape Cod League usually has in a normal season, is huge. But we're not seeing that, so we saw the record for most ties last night.
Michael Brown, another pinch hitter, digs in here for the Anglers. Ties all around here this season, which is, you get 1 point for that in the standings. As the pitch home from Sweat is fanned on here by Brown, and the count now 0-2 here on the University of Washington hitter. That's a school we haven't mentioned thus far this season. We've seen Washington State, but we have not seen University of Washington yet. And here he is, Michael Brown, who this past season hit .210 with the Huskies. Lines this one into left field, but tracking foul and out of play by the Anglers bullpen. Keeps the count at 0-2. Sweat looks in for the sign here. Ahead easily in the count, 0-2. And he has it. Pitch home to the left-handed hitter. Swung on and missed. And there's your first out of the inning as Michael Brown goes down off of Wesley Sweat's first strikeout of the night.
Number 13, Lyle Miller Green out of Chipola College.
Lyle Miller Green, another pinch hitter, comes in here for the Anglers. Just sending everybody to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth. get them an at-bat before the evening's done. And Miller Green, a righty, here for the Anglers. Calls time before Sweat can come home with the pitch. Lyle Miller Green out of Chipola College, a JUCO down in Florida. And Sweat's pitch home, in over the heart of the plate for strike one. So with Falmouth likely holding on to that victory tonight, improved to 4-2-2 on the season, now 10 points in the CCBL, which is just behind YD. As the pitch, they're going to say that he went around on a check swing, so make the count 0-2 here now on Miller Green. Falmouth will stay at second place in the Western Division. Chatham will drop down to third in the East. And only two teams this season from each division make the postseason, as the 0-2 is outside. Make the count now 1-2. Only two teams this season make the postseason, or two teams from each division make the postseason. So it's the top two in the East, top two in the West, and early on it's been Falmouth and Bourne who, to an early extent, have separated themselves from the rest of the pack, as the 1-2 forces Jonathan French to get out of the box from behind the plate, as it's low and away now, 2-2.
Bourne really just off to an electric start, and Falmouth off to a pretty good start as well, and everybody else has kind of been lacking a little bit, I would say, especially Hyannis at the bottom.
2-2 delivery, swung on and missed, and there's the second strikeout for Wesley Sweat. So back-to-back Ks for the South Carolina Gamecock, and there's two gone here in the inning.
Beautiful job, beautiful location, and I mean, you come into a game, an 8-1 score to pinch hit. It's just hard to get your mind right going to the plate. That's the one at-bat you're going to get, one plate appearance, whatever it is. And he's gone back-to-back Ks after the single in the infield.
In steps the 9-hitter, Seth Stevenson, representing the final out of this game. And he fouls the first pitch back into the netting for strike one. Falmouth has established itself early, but something yet to do is pick up a win at home. Still looking for that first win at the Gov. Only 3 games have been played there, so a lot of time left, obviously. But 0-1 delivery here from Sweat is a half swing from Stevenson. Coming out to field it is Sweat. His throw over to first in time, and the Commodores improve to 4-0-1 on the road this season off of an 8-1 victory here in Chatham. The Commodores go to the westernmost team last night, pick up a tie. They come to the easternmost team tonight, pick up a dub. And now on the season, Falmouth 4-2-2 as a really good road stretch here for the Commodores has shot them up in the standings, and now behind just Bourne in the Western Division.
A really good all-around performance tonight. The pitching was there, the hitting was there, and I mean, it started off getting out early to a 2-0 lead, and the pitching, the dominant start from McLaughlin was unbelievable, and that's exactly what they need. They need starters to go deeper in games. And he went 5 scoreless innings, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 4. DeFabio only gave up a run. It was unearned. Not a single earned run was given up tonight. Just 1 run scored for Chatham. So the pitching was really there, and they hit the ball as well tonight. I mean, you can't say enough about the performance tonight. Probably their best overall game this season.
Well, for the 3rd time this season, Falmouth scores first in the ball game, in the first inning, and ends up winning the ball game. So, Matt, we had talked about in the pregame scoring early and jumping out ahead so that when your team comes out to field, your pitcher already has a lead. They do it for the 3rd straight road game here tonight, and that propels them to another win.
Well, that's the main thing about this game. You win the first inning, you're in a driver's seat, especially as the road team, to get out early offensively, stomp on the other team's throats, and you bring your pitcher to the mound with a lead, he can cruise after that, and that's what they did tonight.
So Falmouth tonight with an 8-1 victory here at Chatham. First time taking on an Eastern team at their place here on the year, and Falmouth comes way out, easternmost team here on the Cape, and picks up that victory, a outstanding 8-1 victory here for the Commodores. 2 runs plated in the first, and from then on, the bats were off running here for Falmouth. So that'll do things tonight here from Veterans Field. For my broadcast partner, Matt Levine, our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay, and our entire crew back in Falmouth, David Adar signing off tonight from Chatham. We'll be back at Gov Fuller Field tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock first pitch against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Hope you can join us on YouTube. But until then, have a great night. Falmouth wins it tonight by a final score of 8-1 here in Chatham.